Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, it's the late night agenda, although a little bit earlier tonight. I'm your host Craig and you're all very welcome along. I can see there's already people in the chat and thank you guys so much for coming in early. There's a bit of an issue with our scheduling of streams, so sometimes I'll schedule it and then it'll disappear, or sometimes Connor will schedule the streams and they'll disappear, and times have been changing, and there's definitely a few gremlins in our system at the minute. But look, you guys are all here and I thank you so much as always for coming in. I feel like I say this every night, but oh my god, do we have a lot to get through tonight. My notes are getting longer and longer and longer. I love a transfer season, you know that. There's transfer gossip coming left, right and centre. I hope you're all keeping well. This is your show. If there's anything you want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, please do let me know in the chat. As you can see from our image tonight, 11 sleeps to go. 11 more days until the Reds visit the Wanda Metropolitano to take on Spurs in the Champions League final. I love saying it. The Champions League final. Obviously, we're on the hunt for number 6. Spurs are looking for the first European Cup. How's everybody feeling out there? Are we nervous? Is time going by slowly? I know from chatting to people today on Twitter and stuff, some people just want to just hibernate basically until June the 1st. I kind of like the build-up. It gives us a chance, obviously, to get content up. It gives us a chance to know how people are feeling. And, of course, the transfer window is open as well. So, as I said, so much to get through. Riley's in, Mossy's in, Domestic Butler's in, Rory Bailey's in, Breadsticks is in. So many people in. I can't get through everybody's. I can't do the hellos anymore. I think the channel's just gotten a little bit bigger than I can cope with for this type of stuff, to say hello to everybody. But if I do miss you, well, hello and thank you so much for coming in. Rory, mate, you've nothing to apologise for. I read through the comments, but you've done nothing wrong. Nothing to apologise to me for. You were just being friendly, Rory. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. Of course, Barca target Origi after the 2 goals he scored. Let's start there, will we? Will we start with the Origi thing since somebody's brought it up? Who was it that brought it up? Cade brought it up. Look, I know this is going to sound mad, but apparently Barcelona are linked to Divock Origi. Yes, Divock Origi. I'm just trying to get through my notes so I can get you the information on it. Yeah, so Barca? Who the fuck are Barca? Barcelona are interested in signing Divock Origi apparently as a backup to Luis Suarez. Now, this is according to Mundo Deportivo. There's also links from the Catalan club to Fernando Llorente as a possible Origi alternative, but it is mad. I mean, it's not something that I thought I was going to see today when I was looking through all the transfer gossip and rumours. Divock Origi being linked to Barcelona? Now, of course you guys will remember that apparently the deal that Michael Edwards struck at the time we sold Coutinho was that Barcelona can't come back near any of our players until I think it was the 2020-2021 season, I believe. And if they did come in, then they'd have to pay a clause that meant they'd have to pay €100 million on top of any transfer fee for the player. So you've got to take this one with a massive pinch of salt. But Divock Origi to Barcelona, it's just never been a sentence that I thought I'd be saying on here. I don't believe I'm even going to ask this, but does anybody think there's any truth to this? Does anybody think Barcelona are genuinely interested? I don't know. Why do people keep deleting Rory's comments? Can somebody let me know? Somebody just said, what will the score be? Why are you deleting his comments, guys? Can we please stop this? I mean, he's not trolling. I don't understand this at all. Right, anyway, let me go. Origi, what do you think? Yes, no, maybe? Nothing better than getting back at them. What else we got there? Somebody said imagine Van Dijk in the lit next season. That's not going to happen. But the looks of things, Cube Head, unfortunately, he looks Barcelona bound. Everything that I've read over the past couple of days, except we did have Guillaume Balaguer saying Liverpool definitely held an interest in him, but I don't know whether that's true or not. What I do believe is that he's going to go to Barcelona. Everything I've seen suggests that he's going to go to Barcelona. What have we got? Keep Origi. No, Origi to Barca, said Owen Healy. I know, it sounds ridiculous, Owen. It sounds absolutely mental, mate, but there have been links. October's in. I'm glad you got home safe, October, from your travels around Liverpool, obviously, and Ireland. It was a pleasure to get to spend time with you when you were over here. And great to see that you're home okay. I know you're a little bit pissed off that it looks like your boy might be going to Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, sorry. Julian Brandt looks like he might be going to Borussia Dortmund, and I know you're not very happy about that one. Keep Origi, said the Walking Gamer. I don't believe Barca would want Origi, said Eugene Wallace. The article also linked to Fernando Llorente, so it's like they're going after both Champions League finalists, backup strikers. I mean, to me, this absolutely stinks of lazy journalism from, I believe it's the Spanish outlet Mundo Deportivo. Yeah, I mean, they do have to talk a load of garbage, some of these Spanish media outlets, don't they? Where did you see about the Origi rumour? As I said, I believe it was sourced from Mundo Deportivo, but I think there was a couple of more papers around with it as well. K to fit ? Said Big Man Steve. He is training, buddy. I would be amazed if he starts this final. I'd actually be amazed if he even gets minutes on the pitch, to be honest, because we know Klopp talks about a rhythm and he likes players to be in a rhythm of game time, and I don't think Naby's going to make it myself. But it is great that he's over there with the squad. It is great to see him training, and how great would it be if I was proved completely wrong and he does play and he has a stormer, because his form before he picked up the injury was just getting better and better and better. Keane Rainsford said Madrid is great anyway, we don't need the lit. Barca might want him but Liverpool won't let him go, said Joel Morris. Well, it looks like he's going to be offered a new deal, Joel, if you're to believe what's been going around the media over the past couple of days. It's like Jurgen Klopp seems to be convinced now with Divock Origi, or being won over by Divock Origi, enough so that he's willing to give the guy a new contract, which I think is actually thoroughly deserved. I don't know what will happen in the final, but I know it'll be a great game, said CJ Sauce. It will, mate. It is going to be a great game, a great occasion between two good clubs, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Tom Jones said the only reason I can see it is that they want to trigger the 100 million agreement so they can buy Liverpool players. Even at that, we can still tell them to piss off, mate, when they come back in for the players. Do you know what I mean? So even if they bought Origi for, let's say, 100 and something million, they come back knocking for anybody else, we can just tell them to go and shite, basically. Liverpool 5 times said, if you ever feel useless, imagine how the journalists who've been posting Chelsea transfer rumours feel. Yeah, on the whole Chelsea thing, I don't know what's going on there. I know they've got the ban, sorry, I don't mean that. I know they've got the transfer ban, but they are going to appeal this, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get that appeal heard and overturned before this window is over. Roberto said, the best journalist, in my opinion, is Monblano. I've no idea who that is. Roberto, have you seen the links, mate? And I'm sure you have, linking Sarri to the Juventus job. And what do you think of that? Is that a done deal, Roberto, from what you know as a Juventus fan? Seamus Smith said, for me, I'd sell Origi and get Timo Werner as his replacement. Better quality. Dave is in from Dave's LFC chats, buddy. Always a pleasure. Great to see you. I hope you're keeping well. If the lit doesn't sign for us, then who would you want? Because we need a partner for VVD. Unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, is it unfortunately? I don't know. It seems as if Jurgen Klopp isn't going to go and buy anybody, mate, for centre back. If you're to be believed what James Pearce has said and what other news agencies have said, Jurgen Klopp is happy with his defensive reinforcements, or his defensive selection there between Gomez, Matip, Lovren and Van Dijk. So it doesn't look like anybody's getting purchased in the centre back position. It looks like a backup left back and two maybe attacking forwards, or that's what I'm seeing or reading. That's the general vibe around the transfer world, if you want to call it that. But it is transfer window time, so you got to take everything with a massive, massive pinch of salt. I heard we're trying to get Werner, said the Irishman. Again, I've heard yes and I've heard no. I think we're at the point now where we can say we can probably pick out 8 players, maybe 9. Nicolas Pepe, Timo Werner, Memphis Depay. I think we can scratch off Julian Brandt at this point. Nabil Fekir. Who else am I missing out on here? David Neres. I know I'm missing out on a couple of players here. A few more forwards we've been linked with. I can't think of the rest of them, but you can probably name 2 from 7 or 8 at this point, and maybe that's where we're going to go. Now, I'll let you guys give me a name. What name do you want to talk about first? This is your show. What transfer rumour or what name that you've seen linked would you like to talk about? Subi, how are you, mate? Never any need to apologise. I know it's Ramadan, mate. And lots of love to you and the family, buddy. I hope you're all keeping well. Mourinho to Celtic and now Origi to Barca. I've seen rumours actually linking, what's his name? David Moyes to the Celtic job as well, which if I'm a Celtic fan, I'm absolutely hoping that doesn't happen. Riley Jenkins said Dybala or Coutinho. Dybala for me, mate. I think I'd take Dybala. Again, it would depend on money, but from a footballing perspective, I would go with Dybala, I think. Sell Origi and buy a new forward, said Kilazin or Kilazin. Yeah, it does look, mate, like Origi's going to get a new contract. And don't forget, Daniel Sturridge is going on a free contract at the end of the season, as is Alberto Moreno. We do have Ryan Brewster, of course, to look forward to. And yeah, I don't know if we're going to buy a number 9 type forward. I think it might be 2 wide players, or a 10 and a wide player, or somebody to play at the tip of a diamond, perhaps. Firmino has been training, said best buddies, which is absolutely wonderful news. It was great to see him back training, and hopefully he's fit and in contention for the final, because as much as we talk about match rhythms and stuff, Jurgen Klopp has said on many occasions that Bobby Firmino's almost a different animal altogether when it comes to fitness and being able to just drop him back in and start him playing again. Bliss has said, wish we got that James guy. I think, I have to say, buddy, I don't know too much about him, but where we are at this moment in time, I think we want to be getting more proven talent. And we do have some good young players at the team, but I think we want to get some more proven talent. Right, lots of names coming through. I did ask who you guys want to talk about. I'm going to try and quickly gauge which one I think has the most answers. Oh, it's a toss-up here between Pepe and Memphis Depay, really, isn't it? Do you know what? We'll talk about them both. So let's start with Memphis Depay, because I do have a little bit of, not news, I don't like to call it news because that makes it sound like I've got information that other people don't have, which I never do. But there has been a lot of noise around Liverpool potentially signing Memphis Depay from Lyon, and the number that seems to be quoted is £50 million. How would everybody feel about that as a signing? I know some people still hold the Manchester United link against them. I know some people, myself included, think that his temperament and his attitude is a little bit questionable. But when it comes to his ability on a football pitch, we've seen moments of brilliance. We've seen what the guy is capable of. He was always touted as a possible superstar. Didn't really work out under Louis van Gaal at Manchester United for him. He's went on to Lyon. He has improved dramatically since he's been there. He does look like a little bit of a big time Charlie, if I'm being honest. And I do like players, I like players that have a bit of attitude, but I've seen things in the media when he's been calling out his manager and a few other bits and pieces that have made me question him. But if it's something Jurgen Klopp wants, then I can be absolutely in no doubt that Jurgen Klopp would have looked in and spoken to the guy and his attitude and looked into his development and his background. And Barry Hunter will have watched him, I'm sure, on numerous occasions, who's our chief scout. And I would have no issues if we went and signed Memphis Depay. And I think the figure of around 50 million seems pretty reasonable to me. Yeah, it seems very reasonable. So what does everybody think on that one? I will get back to all the names on your list. I promise you I will get through them all. And thank you guys so much for coming in. I mean, the chat's filling up quickly already, which is great to see. What do I think about João Felix? I think that he's probably going to go to Manchester City. Or I'd say probably Manchester City, actually, if I'm being honest. He does have a 120 million release clause, Skeeters, and there was rumours that we went from in January. I think we bid 60 million if the media outlets around that time were to be believed, although I'd seen nothing from the English media on that. It was more European media that reported that. It was very kind of under the radar, actually. Press Salah said 120 million for Depay and Nicolas Pepe. I bet Depay will shine with Wijnaldum and Van Dijk. Good behaviour, which is a good shout, Steph. We've seen a lot of Instagram videos and little bits and pieces, haven't we, of him with Gini and Van Dijk, and it is good to see, to be fair. I do like having those little groups or those little cliques or those connections at the club, whether they be Dutch or Brazilian or English or whatever it might be. And our club does look like a club that the players are all getting on in. It looks like a club where people are having fun. And I know a few people mentioned earlier on about the wonderful video that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain put up of them on the flight with Dejan Lovren wandering around the flight, and then the camera pans backwards and there he is, the global superstar that is Mohamed Salah, curled up in a ball on the floor of the plane, little pillow, little blanket, having a little nap. Love it. Love to see stuff like that. Makes us all feel like we're all normal. Makes us all feel like even the best, even king, the Egyptian king that is Mohamed Salah, is there with a little blankie over him, having a little nap. We will pay for getting to pay, said somebody. Where's Connor's comment? Connor said, Man United link doesn't bother me, but him being a cringy cunt bothers me though. There was some video that popped up yesterday, Connor, mate. I'm sure you've seen it, of him. Is it a rap video or something? And he's got a cigar in his mouth and he's wearing what looks like a cowboy jacket or something. It's very strange altogether. I didn't want to click on and listen to it because I was afraid I'd never be able to unhear it if I clicked on it. Owen Farrelly said, I think Depay would be a mistake, to be honest. He seems very full of himself. I'd much rather Pepe or Ziyech. X7 channel said, bargain for his quality. Jones Nuff reckons 50 is too much. I liked him before he signed for the Manx. And we were strongly linked to him as well, mate, before he did sign for United. But our two clubs are in different places at that moment in time. We were still starting our development, and now look where we are compared to Manchester United. We're certainly a lot further on in our development now than United are. From on the field perspective, I mean, from a business perspective, look, you got to give it to United in that sense. They're an absolute behemoth of a club when it comes to the financial aspect of football. Something else that I will touch on, Louis, as well. Louis 10, I haven't forgotten that, mate, and I will go back over your comment because it is on my notes to chat about. What have we got? Will said, decent price, could be lower. Can play 2 or 3 positions, said Seamus Smith. 14 goals, 16 assists. That's a bargain, and Klopp will put him straight. Adam Brown said, I really wish we could have picked up Christian Pulisic before Chelsea. Not so much proven talent, but a great fit. Adam, I'm with you, buddy. I was a big admirer of Christian Pulisic, and the fact that he went to Chelsea, I mean, the fact he didn't join Liverpool is bad enough, but the fact that he went to Chelsea, all I can assume is that we weren't in for him, because I fully believe if Jurgen Klopp wanted Christian Pulisic would be wearing a Liverpool shirt. I fully believe that. It made so much sense from the owner's perspective as well. The poster boy of American football. It just would have made so much sense. But for whatever reason, it seems like Jurgen Klopp just didn't want it. And Pulisic went and signed for Chelsea, and that's a done deal. He was on loan at Borussia Dortmund, obviously, for the remainder of the season, and will join up with Chelsea for the pre-season. Migs TV said, I wouldn't pay more than 35 million for Depay. We can get Ziyech for 25. Big Man Steve said Klopp would sort him out anyway with regards to Memphis Depay. 40 million, said Liverpool legend. Eugene Wallace said, would love Depay for the price. I trust Klopp to keep him in check. No Pogba situation here. Absolutely. Jurgen Klopp would not put up with any of that nonsense. We've seen before players misbehaving and they just get shown the door. It's as simple as that. Thinking back to recent examples of who was it the Klopp booted out? This is where I'm having my brain fart. Went to Palace, defender, centre back, Bambi on ice, everything that springs to mind. Who was it? I'm going to scroll down because I know somebody's going to write it in there straight away. Sakho, yes, there you go. Mamadou Sakho. He showed up late apparently for a couple of things. Had a bit of an attitude question. I think he burst on one of Klopp's interviews one time and said something a little bit inappropriately as well. And all of that led to Sakho being shown the door by Jurgen Klopp. So we know Klopp doesn't put up with any shit, and rightly so. You need to have a good environment at the club to foster success, and it looks like it's a great place to be at the moment. Have I heard of Nick Meads? I think I have. The name rings a bell. The name rings a bell, mate, but can we elaborate a little bit here, buddy, so we know what we're going with? Dream signing for Yibber would be Fekir and Ndombele and Timo Werner. Who gets a medal if we win the final? I would imagine that the entire 23-man squad... Well, now what have we got? Yeah, 11 and 12 on the bench. I imagine the entire 23-man squad that's named for the game would get a medal, plus obviously the coaches and stuff like that. Will United get Bale? I don't think they want him, LFC fan. That's the thing. I think Real Madrid are hawking around Gareth Bale to everybody, and there's only so many clubs I suppose that could realistically afford his wages. You're thinking about PSG, Manchester United, Manchester City, and I'm by no means saying any of these clubs are interested in Gareth Bale. I'm just kind of pointing out clubs that could maybe afford his wages. Bayern Munich. I don't think Spurs could afford his wages as much as, maybe it would be a good return for Gareth Bale. I think he's been very badly treated by Real Madrid, if I'm being honest, and I like Gareth Bale as a footballer, and I think he's been very dignified throughout all this time at Real Madrid, and having to play second fiddle to Ronaldo at times, and the club basically saying we don't want you here. I think he deserves better, but I don't think he'll end up at United. I think the last thing United need to do now is bring on another player who is on his day unplayable, absolutely amazing, but is injury prone. If you were Klopp, would you sell Sadio or Salah to help you get Mbappe? Somebody asked me this yesterday, and I did say yes, to be fair. He's the only player I would consider selling one of our front 3-4 to get, if I'm being honest. Obviously, I'd rather we didn't sell anybody and went and got him, but yes, mate, I've got to be honest. For Kylian Mbappe, I probably would. Who wants the pie? Said Mossy Kyo. I don't mind either way, mate. I just back whoever Jurgen Klopp decides he wants to bring in. It'd be a good move for Depay as he would settle in because VVD and Genie, said Stephen Richards. Apparently we want Bruno Fernandes as a midfielder or Fekir alternative, said Virgil. Definitely have seen those links, mate. I mean, like anything, it's so tough to know because Liverpool are keeping things really, really under wraps, which is leading some people to believe that maybe they're not going to sign anybody, and I'm not believing that for 1 second. I'm absolutely sure Liverpool are making a couple of signings. Adam Park said Leroy Sane is going to Bayern Munich. What's going on at that situation, by the way? Why are they wanting Sane out of Manchester City? I mean, I would love Leroy Sane at Liverpool, if I'm being honest. And Connor said to me before I came on that a few of the ITKs and social media were linking Leroy Sane with a move to Liverpool. There is no way in God's green earth that Manchester City are going to sell Leroy Sane to Liverpool. They would rather just leave him in the reserve till his contract runs out than strengthen a rival by selling him to us. Would I take him? You bet your ass I would. I think Leroy Sane is a fantastic footballer. But there must be something going on. Maybe somebody's read something. Maybe somebody can let me know. There must be something going on there for him to not be getting a look in at Manchester City. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to me. Why would you want to move him on? I like Depay, but I prefer Nick Meads. Said, oh, this was the guy you were talking about. Delay is genius. The world is messy. No, Lionel. I don't know what that means, Keen, mate, but okay. Klopp would sort Depay out, good and proper, said Stephen Richards. Randy's in, Randy66, how are you, sir? He said, good evening, Craig, good evening, Redmen. I believe Depay would be a great sign and he can play all along the front three, even if that means Firmino playing in behind the possible front three of Depay, Mane and Salah. And that is one of the characteristics that I expect from any Jurgen Klopp signing, Randy. We very rarely buy players that are position specific unless you're paying ridiculous money like for Virgil van Dijk or Alisson Becker. And let's be fair, you're not going to start playing Virgil van Dijk on the left wing, but do you know what, he can probably fucking do it because he's Virgil van Dijk. But when you're talking about midfielders, when you're talking about forwards, you often see with Jurgen Klopp, he wants players like that can be fluid, that can play across the front three, that can play in midfield, that can play at wing back. So what you've said there, Randy, mate, makes perfect sense to me. We shouldn't sell Origi to Barcelona, said Sean. I don't think we will, Sean. I think it's just media garbage, if I'm being honest. I mean, yeah, there's no way we're going to sell. And from Origi's perspective, he'd be going there to be back up to Luis Suarez, so probably not going to get any game time anyway, or very little game time. Dunica said Barca want Origi. My God, the GOAT and Lionel playing in the same club. Yeah, but can you imagine a changing room, mate? Do you know what I mean? They're all standing there, walking around, having their shower or whatever, and then Divock comes in, undoes the towel, and just makes a show of every one of them. Do you know what I mean? Just va-dum. And that's it. Like, everybody scatters and just says, what's the fucking point anymore in life? Do you know what I mean? I'd love Depay, but James Norwood is the next Messi, said Owen. Depay can play left wing, centre forward and striker, said Prez. Breadsticks says no to Bale. That guy gets injured way too easily. Is in a less physical league, it will get worse in the Premier League. Yes, I agree with everything you've said there, mate. It's going to be interesting to see who takes on Gareth Bale. PSG, I can't think of many clubs that are going to be willing to, one, pay the transfer fee, and two, pay the wages that Gareth Bale is either currently on or would expect for a move. I think he kind of has Real Madrid over a barrel, to be fair. Who would he come in for, Depay? Again, mate, I don't know if... When we're talking about bringing in players now, so many of us look at it and go, right, well, if we buy him, who is he replacing? And that isn't the way I think we should be looking at this, because rotation, you know what I mean? Rotation. It's okay to give, say, Salah a rest 1 week, drop Memphis Depay in if he came, give Mane a rest, put him in, you know, just vice versa, because you want these players to be fresh, and it's a lot of games. If you're challenging on 4 fronts throughout the season, you're talking 50 or 60 more, even more games for these guys to be playing. Dirty Girl said I don't rate Pulisic. What else we got? What about Mario Gotze, said Sean Burke. A name that Brian Morrissey brought up to me when we were recording yesterday. Somebody I'd forgotten about, Sean, and somebody who obviously Jurgen Klopp has a soft spot for, and Jurgen Klopp, I believe, has said that he has some unfinished business with Gotze, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, mate. He does seem to have those thyroid issues that they'd suffered with under control. So, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say no. Anybody that Jurgen Klopp decides he wants to bring in is going to get my full backing, because how could I doubt the man? He gets everything spot on. Everyone he signed for us, Karius aside probably, but even at that, it was what? It was a 5 million quid gamble or a 4.5 million quid gamble. All his major signings, he's got absolutely spot on. Martin O'Sullivan says 8 days for me from Madrid. Is that when you're heading off, buddy, for the trip? I'm so jealous. I know there's loads of Reds going over, and I wish I could go. Craig, I don't think we should sell Origi because he's yet to reach his peak, said Wayne. Pulisic is an overhyped average player, said Kister. Boom Boom said, I keep saying not interested in this channel, but keep getting recommended to your videos. I don't know what you want me to do with that, mate. I mean, you're welcome in here anytime, buddy, but it's up to you. If it's not for you, I can't help what YouTube recommends for you, my friend, but you're always welcome in here. Fabian Black said, any update on Suarez transfer? No. Nothing that I've seen or heard, Fabian, mate, or Fabian. I'm not sure which way you actually pronounce that yourself, buddy, so I kind of probably drop in between both when I'm talking about your name. How old is Ziyech? 26? 27? 25? Something? Somebody help me out here, because you guys know me in ages at this moment. Somebody has named a player and I'll I'll make him 2 years older than he is, so I'm going to say 26 at a guess, but I'm sure somebody knows. Depay has got bars, said Louis. Oh yeah, can he spit? I didn't watch the video. I didn't see if he actually could spit lyrics, but you must have watched it, mate, and you said there he's got bars. Don't need him. We've got Ryan Brewster, said Charlie, which is a good point, and I don't ever want people to underestimate quite how good Ryan Brewster's going to be. He's class. Craig, when's the giveaway being announced? Which one? Louis, we've got 2 running at the minute, mate. We've got the giveaway of the signed Robbie Fowler picture, with thanks to our friends at All Star Signings, and we've got the shirt. I think you're talking about the home shirt, which will be announced in the post-match stream after the final, the charity stream. We're going to announce the winner of that LFC home shirt. And just a reminder for everybody, if you want to enter that, have a look on our Twitter account. It's up there. All you have to do is follow our Twitter account, retweet the post, and make sure you're subscribed on here, and we'll be announcing the winner of, you can either have the home shirt or the goalkeeper shirt, and your choice of either a name and number or the badges. So whichever one you want, the winner can pick, and we'll get it sent out to them. What Klopp does is sign a player who knows he can get the best out of, which is a very good point, your man. And Klopp often speaks about how important coaching is as well, and that sometimes we all just want newer players. But he's proved as well he can bring the players that are already at the club up in level, and another facet of Jurgen Klopp's management that I think sometimes gets overlooked. 26. Oh, look at me getting something almost right for once. 26. I love it. Thank you guys as well. It's like having my personal geniuses everywhere around me. I mean, if I can't remember something, I just have to go, hey, somebody help me out, and bang, there you guys are. Got my back all the time, and I love you for it. We can't sell Origi. He's a good player. I don't think we will, to be fair, mate. I think it's just more nonsense from the Spanish media. Where do Liverpool need to strengthen? Asked Davy Fisher. For me, Davy, mate, I think we need backup for full back. People will say left back, but I think we need someone who can cover either side. And I think we need 2 attacking players. Now, whether that is somebody to play in the 10, somebody to play as a striker, or somebody to play in a wide forward position or across the front 3, mate, I don't mind. I don't mind who that is. Liverpool 5 times said Isco. I don't think we will go for him, but I do think that he'll probably stay with Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid. But Isco's a wonderful footballer, mate, and again, I'd have no issues. Let me just jump to another name for you guys. So I've said this many times before, I'm going to get it tattooed on my head. Sadio Mane has been linked to Real Madrid yet again in the media, and it just stinks of desperation from Real Madrid at this point. They're just trying to throw out a fishing rod and see who they can get, and there's been many stories today and yesterday linking Sadio Mane with a move to Real Madrid. It is not happening. Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino will not be leaving Liverpool Football Club this window unless a miracle happens or Jurgen Klopp decides he wants to move them on. But there's no signs of that yet. And you can never say never in football. You can never say 100% with absolute certainty that a player won't leave, because if somebody comes in and drops 250 or 300 million, there's always conversations to be had. But he's not going anywhere by the looks of it. The club have no interest in selling him. I think when Real Madrid made initial inquiries, they were told, no, go away. And even I think last year or in January, somebody wrote that they made an offer to Liverpool or an inquiry to Liverpool. And I think it was something like, give us Vinicius Jr. and like 200 million or something ridiculous like that was the reply. Skipper Dog said Depay be good, a good signing in his eyes. Sell Wilson for 25 and buy Ziyech for 25, meaning Ziyech for free. Well, apart from agents' fees, VAT, and the other various bits and pieces and taxes, mate, I'd be all for that. Neil. But on the Sadio Mane thing, I know people get worried when they see these links. I know they do, but he's not going anywhere. Don't worry about it. La Liga getting desperate, said Cobra. It stinks of it, doesn't it, buddy? It absolutely stinks of desperation. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. We are marching towards 16k. I'd love to get there before the Champions League final. So if you can help us out and just hit that subscribe button, that would mean the world to us. That other 888 video came out, so we can now tell you what it was about. Because I know maybe sometimes you guys think that I just don't give you enough on here, and I spoke yesterday until I couldn't tell you what it was about. I actually didn't know it was coming out today. I was as surprised as everybody else. I woke up and I was tagged in something, and I looked and I went, oh shit, the video's out. Right, so the video, it was called Unpopular Opinion, and my unpopular opinion was that Eden Hazard is a fraud and shouldn't be compared to Mohamed Salah. As you can imagine, that triggered quite a few people. I do go into a little bit more detail in the video, so if you're on Twitter, check it out, 888 Sport. It's on YouTube as well, and as far as I'm aware, it's on the YouTube channel. But if you could do me a favour and get onto the Twitter account and just comment on it or retweet it or share it for me, or give me your thoughts on it. Watch it, it's only 40 seconds long, something like that, but I would love to know your thoughts. I think this is the last one of those 888 Sport videos that comes from the segment that we filmed, I think. It's proven to other teams more open in their negotiations, said Cameron. A creative midfielder would be amazing, said Eric Worry. Who else have we got in? Sorry, there was somebody that I wanted. Oh, Dominus Earth said, how are you? Oh, you're just saying hello. Welcome in, buddy. Origi's future isn't porn, said Stephen Richards. I don't think they pay him enough money, mate, to be fair. There's probably not enough money in porn these days from a male perspective. Greetings from Dubai, said Denzel. How are you, sir? It's 1 a.m. in Dubai, but yeah, here you are, mate, giving us some love and coming on and sharing the chat with us. Appreciate your time, Denzel, mate. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're looking forward to the Champions League final. Yoshi's in as well. Yoshi plays. How are you, buddy? Cameron said, I'd love to see Pepe at Liverpool. I saw him against PSG under Klopp, and saw him against PSG and under Klopp, he could shock the world. His physicality, power, skill are deceptively next level. Loads, mate. Loads and loads and loads of Reds that I've been talking to want Nicolas Pepe. Loads of them. I've been really honest about it and said I've seen very, very limited amounts of the guy, but he looks like a superstar, and his manager has said that he's going to move on this summer, so I guess it's just a matter of maybe where he goes. I think Liverpool are going for Sane, be an excellent signing. We're not going to get him, Joe. Think about this realistically. Why would Manchester City, for whatever amount of money, strengthen us, the closest competitor at this moment in time? It doesn't make any sense, mate. As much as I would love him, because Leroy Sane is an excellent footballer, realistically, it won't happen, mate. They're not going to sell to us. Bernadette Farrell said, Craig's Google. That's it. You've nailed it, Bernadette. You guys are like my own little Google. Except you guys give me the facts all the time, and sometimes at Google you can get some nonsense on Wikipedia and stuff. Dave Sweeney said, we need to let players go that can't work well enough on our team. We need to push City in all domestic cups. No other club can seem to, unless the Manx, Chavs, Arsenal and Evershy will have to do it. I think, yes, there's a lot of talk, mate, that we're going to try and generate something like 100 million from sales. Players that I've seen linked, Adam Lallana, Wilson. We know Moreno and Sturridge are leaving on free contracts. There was talk of maybe Marco Grujic being moved on. There was a few things around Lovren, but now I believe what I've read, he won't be going anywhere. I'm trying to think of some more players at the club are looking to move on. Rangers obviously want to get Ryan Kent, but they want that on another year's loan, whereas I think Liverpool want to sell the player. You've got Karius then, who looks to be settled at Besiktas now, so it looks like he'll trigger enough clauses over the next season to make that deal permanent. We do have the money coming in from Danny Ings as well, let's not forget, because Danny Ings was on loan, a loan to buy at Southampton. Then you've got the situation around Nathaniel Klein. He looks like he's going to move on as well, so there'll be some money to be brought in there. Simon Mignolet will be sold in the summer most likely, again bringing in some money, so you can quickly see where the talk of the 100 million adds up. And if you add that to the money that Jurgen Klopp might already have, then it would be foolish of us not to think that there'd be a couple of signings coming our way. Right, what else have we got? Sane will stay at City 100%, said English Mastiff. There's a lot of links though, mate, linking him away, particularly strong links towards Bayern Munich, and for me, I could never figure it out. Maybe we've got a few Manchester City fans. I mean, Dominus, mate, I know you're a Manchester City fan. I don't think Lofat's in the chat tonight, but if there are any Manchester City fans, I really would love to know your thoughts on Leroy Sane. Joanne said 15,711 subs, Craig. Anybody new, can you hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications on? I always forget about that part, Joanne, don't I? GNDI, I'm not sure how to pronounce if it's Gindi, said, what about Marco Asensio? He can play on the wings and a central attacking midfielder. Yes, very, very, very good player, mate, but one that I think will be the type of player that Zidane will be trying to build his team around. I mean, it'd be foolish of him to move him on. Real Madrid, in my eyes, are up shit creek at the minute. They have a very aging squad, a very high wage bill. They're trying to move players out, and yet they're trying to rebuild at the same time, so it's going to be really interesting. There's going to be so much going on this summer. You'd imagine that Eden Hazard would go to Real Madrid. There's a big serious link for Pogba to Real Madrid as well. They're looking at Eriksen and a couple of other players, so they've got to sell to buy as well. I mean, they don't have to sell to buy, but for the amount that they're going to want to rebuild, they're going to have to bring in some cash. But then Stevie Richards just said, fuck Real Madrid, and I can definitely get on board with that one. Dominic said, I think Depay could be like Salah, flopped at United like Salah did at Chelsea and then come back amazing. There's definitely an argument to be made for that one, buddy. I can see where you're coming from. What school did I go to? Oatlands College in Stillorgan, mate. LM. I don't know, if you're from Dublin or from that neck of the woods, but yeah, Oatlands College was the name of the school I went to. Why are they trying to get him? He doesn't want to leave. Who's this about? Gammon, sorry mate, I might have missed your original comment. I'm not sure who you're asking about. Are we playing City in the Community Shield? Yes, I believe it is August the 4th, but yes, we are playing Manchester City in the Community Shield in a pointless game, I feel like. But do you know what? I suppose it's a chance for Reds to go and see Liverpool at Wembley, and that's always a good thing. Luke Johnson's in. How are you, sir? I'm very good, thank you for asking. I hope you're well. Has anybody seen the Salah asleep on the plane video? We spoke about it a little bit earlier on, mate. It's great. I love it. I love seeing stuff like that. I love seeing players humanised a little bit more. And look, we can put players like Mohamed Salah rightly up on a pedestal because he's absolutely a superstar. But do you know what was great about that video for me? Even when he was trying to get some rest on the floor, as you said, but even when he's seen Oxlade-Chamberlain filming him, he still had a big bright beam and smile on his face, and that's why you gotta love Mo. What else have we got? If Depay comes in, where will he play? Somewhere across the front three, Louis. I don't know. Again, it'll be about rotation, so I'm not going to say he'd come in and he'd replace Mane, or he'd come in and he'd replace Salah, or he'd come in perhaps maybe and play a little bit behind the front three. There is a question to be had, and Brian Morrissey raised this yesterday when we were talking about a possible formation change, depending on who we might bring in. We can't rule out the possibility of maybe a 4-2-3-1. So if we were to bring in like a Timo Werner, in, for instance, maybe we could look at a 4-2-3-1 again. I don't know. But it would be nice for Jurgen Klopp to have all these options, which he does have to some extent with Ryan Brewster there and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Divock Origi, but without being disrespectful to Origi, he does deserve a new deal. I do believe he'll continue to develop, but the drop-off currently from the front three to what we had with Origi and Sturridge is just too deep, and we need to strengthen there, and strengthen seriously. Ryan Brewster is going to be great. You don't want to put too much pressure on a young guy's shoulders. You want to let him develop naturally and see how he gets on. Pep needs control and some players need more freedom, said Cameron. What else we got? Liam Granby's in. How are you, mate? He said, alright mate, how's tricks? What's the latest news? Sorry, I'm in. I've got so much to get through. This is going to be a long stream, by the way, ladies and gents. You're talking, we started at 9:30. This could be a 2-hour job, because I've only tipped on the amount of notes that I have, because I'm trying to get through everybody's comments, and I've got so many notes. Ron Carlisle Cummins said, Liverpool fans need to stop being dismissive about building our squad unless you're planning to play or to pay the club injury bills. I get you. I'm with you, Ron, on that 100%, mate. We can't just look at anybody that we sign as a starting 11 player. We have to think of them as an 18 player, if you get where I'm coming from. Bernadette Farrell said, if Klopp landed De Ligt, what a message to the Premier League in Europe. Unfortunately, I agree with you, Bernadette, 100%. And I've always said whatever club gets him is getting a superstar, but he does look very much like he's going to end up at Barcelona. There was a little bit of haggling apparently around Mino Raiola's possible agents' fees, and the reason you might see this drag on, of course, is that Mino Raiola does have that ban, and that ban runs out before the Premier League transfer window closes, but La Liga's goes a bit longer, so I think there will be time to get that trophy done, or trophy. I read the word trophy on the screen and said trophy. Get that deal done and dusted. Everything will probably be in place, and it'll just have to be signed off, I suppose, at the end. What's Andy Robertson worth now? God, that's a good question. Would I be completely losing my mind to say Andy Robertson would be worth between 60 and 70 million pound? Am I losing track of myself here by saying that, or do you think I'm underestimating his value there, guys? Overestimating his value? I can honestly say it's not something I've ever really thought about, because, you know, with him and Trent, you just know they're not going anywhere. So thinking of transfer values isn't really something I've ever done, but it is an interesting question, Skywalker. Football Mainly YouTube said 4-2-3-1 we played well with last season. Okay. The Irish Beard has joined. How are you, mate? Craig Oxlade-Chamberlain seems to be the team's cheeky chappy. I love him, Stephen. I absolutely love him. I think he's one of the most media savvy or social media savvy footballers I've ever seen. I don't remember him really ever putting a foot wrong. Love Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. This is what I look forward to every night at X7 channel. That really makes me feel great. Thank you for those kind words. And I look forward to coming on here and getting to chat with all of you guys as well. So whatever you feel, it's coming right back at you, pal. Ella has joined. Ella, how are you, my friend? It's always great to see you in. I hope you're keeping well. Here we go. Some guesses on prices. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I live for this transfer stuff, I swear to God. Looking slim and trim, Craig. The diet, maybe the new kit suits you. I have actually lost some weight, mate. Yes, I have been on the diet. So thank you. Appreciate that. I'm still an overweight chubby fucker, but I have a long way to go. But you know what? You got to start somewhere, don't you? And thank you for the kind words. Maybe it is the shirt. I love the new shirt. I've been bigging up the new shirt for ages. Lewis Johnson reckons 120 million, which I love that, Lewis. Well in. Brucey Dortmund Forever said 70 million. Joseph said 60 to 70. Is it Kamwi said 50. Virgil 80. Liam Granby 90 upwards. Gonad said formations are just for kick-off. Once the game gets going, as long as the defence hold the line, teams are very fluid. Absolutely agree. And we sometimes get completely bogged down with formations, mate. And we've seen many times Jurgen Klopp's team can definitely be fluid. So you've nailed that one. I completely agree. Name a better left back. I'd struggle to, Joseph, mate. I really would. Only just got the notification. 40 minutes behind. See you soon. Predict a fine stream as usual. I don't know what is going on with YouTube and our notifications. I told you at the very start of the stream, Connor scheduled it, then it unscheduled itself, then I scheduled it, it changed the time, and then I had to go back in and reschedule it again. I've no idea, but what I can say is you guys can always be assured that sometime between 9:30 and 10 our streams will go. They're usually 1:45, but tonight I had a bit of free time, so I said, so much to get through, I'll come on early. There isn't enough money in Scotland for Robbo, said Aidan Andrews. Damn right, mate. Damn right. Not telling him either. 65 million, said the Irish Beard. 60 million plus, said Adam Parks. Christopher McVicker, around 90 million. Have I seen Wolves are linked to Harry Wilson for 25 million? I haven't, but it makes sense, Sean McDermott. It makes a lot of sense. And I would be all over that. I would be all over that. With a buyback clause, though. I think if we do sell Harry Wilson, we will have either a first option on him or a figure at which we could trigger to buy him back. It's something we've seen European clubs do a lot more of. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a good shout, actually. Wolves would be a good club for his development. Param reckons Robbo's worth 60 to 70 million. Tom Jones said 120 million, best left back in the world. Toxic Boy 150. Nice. I love that people rate him so highly, and rightly so, because he's absolutely world class and only going to get better. And he's got a wonderful story as well, doesn't he? What's Van Dijk's worth? Asks Gary Mulder. Mate, I don't even... Wow. 150, mate. 100, probably. I don't know. I daren't even think, because he's priceless to us. Completely priceless. Krishna said Lucas Hernandez went from Atletico to Bayern for 60, so Robbo should be similar value. How much is Depay? It seems to be around the 50 million mark is the number quoted, mate. Kev Wright is in. How are you, Kev? Always a pleasure to see you, buddy. I hope you're keeping well. Joseph said, I don't see how he's only worth 60, 70 million when he's arguably the best left back in the world. Quite a distance. Surely much more. Yeah, absolutely. It could well be. It's so hard to determine a player's value these days, though. Sessegnon is 50 million, so double it with Robbo. Is that how much Ryan Sessegnon, Fulham are quoting for Ryan Sessegnon? That's... Yeah, even with the whole English connection thing, I think that's still a little bit too high for that kid. A very, very good footballer who's going to be really, really great for whoever signs him, but I think 50 million for Ryan Sessegnon's over the top. Stevie Richards reckons Robbo's worth 100. Craig Weston, VVD 125 mil. Collins Corner Pro Clubs. How many points would the current squad would Liverpool get next season? I have no idea, buddy, and here's why. It depends on who strengthens where with the other clubs, because for us it kind of just came down to our games against Manchester City, didn't it, really, for the way the league panned out. So next season, if the league is more competitive, I think that will probably play into our hands more, because more teams will be more capable of putting up a fight against Manchester City, and that's what we need to do. Jonathan Burns, a United fan. How are you, Jonathan? Welcome in. Don't United have first refusal on Depay? I couldn't tell you that, Tony, mate. I haven't got a clue. But what I can say is I've yet to see a single linking him with a move back to Manchester United. Ella, I can't even read out that word, mate, because that rag doesn't deserve a mention on any stream of ours, buddy. Hayden said Depay or Timo Werner. I'd go with Timo Werner, Hayden, mate, personally. Yeah. For me, I'd go with Timo Werner. What about everybody else? Depay or Timo Werner? Let me know. What number would Depay get if we get him? I haven't got a clue, Adam. I haven't got a clue, mate. Show us your Diet Coke. When are you guys gotta actually believe me that I always have one of these motherfuckers around? Somebody pointed out to me in an email last night that I'm swearing less. Is that something that you guys have noticed? Am I swearing less? I think I've mellowed a little bit over the past few months. Yeah, I've not consciously tried to swear more or less. Maybe it's because there's not watch-alongs. I think a lot of my swearing is during the watch-alongs, isn't it? Jonathan Burns said I just subscribed. Thank you very much, Jonathan. That's great to hear, mate. I hope you enjoy the channel. I know you mentioned you were a United fan, but we welcome fans from all clubs in here, buddy. Seems like some fans prefer the Manx to always have more trophies than us. Please wake up. Klopp said from doubters to believers, so get on board, said Ron Carlisle Cummings. Or Cummins, sorry mate, Cummins. Depay 50 mil, said Liverpool Football Club. Is Sturridge leaving? Yes, his contract is up, Oliver. He's out of contract, mate, so he's free to go wherever he wants. I'm surprised actually there hasn't been many rumours around him, because technically he could have signed for a club outside of the UK from January, and I know a lot of people believe that a move to, you remember he was linked to one of the Milan clubs in the previous window. I think one of his family even got in trouble over putting a bet on him moving. Was it the AC or Inter? I can't remember which one it was. Mate, is the colour gold or yellow? What colour of what, Michael? I've no idea. Well, if this is the jersey, then it would be, well, I would say a gold, mate. Yeah, I would say a gold. A white pinstripe and then the gold for the two badges. Do I rate Gareth Bale? Oh yes, without a doubt, mate. I mean, on his day, the man's unplayable. I'll never forget that goal he scored against Barcelona as well, where he ran around the edge of the pitch. Sensational, but unfortunately, age isn't on his side, and he picks up too many injuries. But as a footballer, absolute quality. It seems everybody is going Timo Werner over Memphis Depay, which I'm glad to see, because it's kind of where I'd go as well. Nice, well in. I think we're all getting on the same wavelength here, which is great to see. Depay to sicken the Manx, said Paul Dunning. That there would be that side of it as well, Paul. It's always nice to get a little dig in, isn't it? Looking back at the season, a presenter on LFC showed how we halved our success rate when they're W. I don't know what that means, Bernadette. Absolutely, you're cursing less, says Liz. That's weird. It is mad, isn't it, how that works out? Maybe I'm just an angry cursor. Maybe I use bad language when I'm angry. Maybe that's it. Our team is super. We just need a left back, a central attacking mid, and a striker. Delay is not a must-have, said Bowie169. Liam said, what a sign that Alisson has been for us this season, mate. Name another player who's been a better signing with more of an impact than Alisson had on ours. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely top quality, mate. The only other one I could name is Van Dijk, but he's still in our team, so it's still great. I'm trying to genuinely think of other players in the Premier League that have had a massive impact that have been signed recently enough. To be fair, I know he's there a couple of years, but Aubameyang and Lacazette have had a very good spell at Arsenal. They've struck up a very good partnership there, two very good forwards. But yeah, I can't really think of many, mate, to be honest. Andrew, I'm getting very posh there, haven't I? Andrew said, good day, Craig, a little late in getting here. You're always welcome, buddy, and again, no one needs to apologise for ever being late. Bale game is based on pace, without which he hasn't got much. Exactly, so if he is picking up these injuries, and we heard Michael Owen talk before about when he picked up injuries as a footballer and he relied on pace, you lose that little bit of explosiveness. Coy said, good evening, looking forward to Liverpool for the Champions League final. Mate, I cannot wait. As we can see from our countdown there, 11 days to go. Timo, said Limo. He's full on the Timo Werner train. Willow's in. Willow, how are you? Welcome. Right, let me get stuck into thoughts on Daniel James. I haven't seen much of him. Rob Ron, I'd be lying to you, mate. Kante to PSG. Somebody mentioned that last night, MC. Again, with Chelsea under a transfer ban as things stand, and probably losing Eden Hazard, would they let N'Golo Kante go? They'd be absolutely mad too. Adam Park says, Maddison or Felipe Anderson? I'd take James Maddison there, mate. Two excellent footballers. Really, really good. I mean, I could understand people going either way. I'd lean towards Maddison. Right, some more news. Let me see what I've got. Done that one. Oh yes, a little bit of news around Trent Alexander-Arnold. So Trent could make history if he starts the Champions League final. If selected in the Liverpool starting 11 in Madrid, he'd become the first ever player aged under 21 to start in 2 consecutive Champions League finals in Europe's premier club competition. Always, as I say, I always like to give credit where I get these things from. I believe this was from the Echo, but either way, for Trent, what a start to his career. He's been to a World Cup with England. He's about to play in his 2nd Champions League final in a row. The future is very much bright for that young man, and I love seeing our players getting all these accomplishments and ticking all these boxes. So lots of love to Trent, and well done to him. And he's only going to get better. How great is that? He's only going to get better. Cape Town Muslim said, you curse like a sailor when we score. Yeah, that's never going to change either, to be fair, buddy. You're right, but that's never going to change. So the Champions League final, always this late in the season. Wow, it's taking forever. The problem is, Bowie, mate, that although the Premier League has finished, some of the other European top leagues hadn't, and they still had games to play. The Bundesliga, I think, only finished this weekend. I think Serie A, I'm actually not sure on Serie A, and La Liga, I think, are only just finished as well. So I think we did finish a little bit earlier than the other leagues, which is probably why it's scheduled a bit later. If given the opportunity, you sign players like De Ligt, Yes, Raul, 100% mate, but you also have that greedy little slob of an agent of his, Mina Raiola, who wants his dirty little hand greased with a lot of wedge to sign player like De Ligt. And I agree, any top club in Europe should be looking to sign De Ligt, but at the same time, Klopp has to show faith in Kian Hoever, and he rates him very highly. And again, there was a fantastic piece today from James Pearce in the Echo about Kian Hoever and quite how hard Liverpool fought to get him. And here's a little segment from it that I'd like to read out to you guys. Again, full credit to the Echo and James Pearce for this piece. So Liverpool pulled out all the stops to convince Kian Hoever that his future lay at Anfield. Chief scout Barry Hunter had been watching the talented young Dutch defender for around a year before the Reds made their move once his contract expired at Ajax last June. Liverpool knew there was serious competition for the teenager's signature with Chelsea, Manchester United and Manchester City among a host of European top clubs who were interested in securing his services. Hoever, however, and his family were invited to Merseyside where they met with Hunter, Academy Director Alex Inglethorpe and other key members of staff before being shown around the club's Kirkby base. They were also given a tour of Anfield and the trophy room. For Everton fans watching, that's where you keep all the European Cups and Premier League trophies and or no, well, not for us now, Premier League trophy, top level trophies, FA Cups, you know, all the stuff that, not the cuckoo clock, the real shit, like the actual trophies. Anyway, where was I? They were also given a tour of Anfield, the club's trophy room and the museum to whet Hoover's appetite, which, you know, is always a great thing that the club can do. You can look and say, you know, have a little look here, pal, look at all this, you can add to this. The Dutch contingent were so blown away by the facilities and the reception that they received that really clinched the deal for the Reds, and the talk about Jurgen Klopp's willingness to put his faith in youth. So there you go. If you're going to attract the best young players in the world like Kian Hoever, who was sensational by all accounts, you've got to sell him a dream, you've got to show them a vision, but as James Pearce hinted with right at the end of that piece there, you've got to show them that there's a pathway through. So it's why when we were talking about De Ligt, you sign De Ligt and you're blocking the pathway for Kian Hoever. Yes, De Ligt is ready now and Kian Hoever might be a season or two, but then Jurgen Klopp was thinking, hey, I've got Joel Matip, I've got Virgil van Dijk, I've got Joe Gomez, I've got Kian Hoever coming through, I've got Degsy Lovren, and I've got Nat Phillips, and Fabinho can drop back in there if needs be. So you can I'm just reading this out to kind of give you an example of why sometimes we won't sign a player that a lot of us, myself included, think, hey, that would be a good buy. Same with a forward. We fought so hard to keep Ryan Brewster that it would be very hypocritical to just block his pathway then and bring in somebody as an out-and-out number 9, which is why we might see a wide forward come in or an attacking midfielder. Again, shout out to James Pearce there. It's a great piece, and it just goes to show you how up to speed our scouting department are and how on top of things they are, and it's great to see. It feels forever since our last game, said Ella. I'm going to Madrid for the final, said ES Grazer. I'm extremely jealous, mate, but I hope you have a wonderful time. Do you think Gomez could play right back for the final? He could do, Mark. Again, I spoke about this yesterday when we recorded with Brian and Connor. I hope he doesn't. I hope Trent has to start there. I mean, just look at the impact Trent had against Barcelona. Now, look, the first leg away from home is always going to be more difficult, and Gomez didn't have as much of an impact as Klopp had probably hoped. But Trent gives you that option to force Spurs back. And we've seen in the semi-final against Ajax in the second half, Spurs were so much better when they were allowed to push 10 or 15 yards further up the pitch, and Ajax basically didn't know what to do and shit themselves to some extent. Having fullbacks like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson and keeping them pushed a bit higher up the field gives Spurs something to think about, and it means that they can't push onto us as much as they'd like, because one, they know we've got the pace of Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah in behind, and then of course you've got the wing backs that can break in Virgil or in Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So for me, Trent has to start the final just for that reason, if nothing else. He gives us an option to counter-attack at pace, and he gives Spurs something to think about and probably not allow them to push us further forward as they'd like to be as effective as they want to be. Which, yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it took Pochettino that long, the second part of the second leg, to actually get on the front foot. And when they did, and they couldn't cope with the balls up to Fernando Llorente, it just seemed so obvious, didn't it? The heat in the final will suit Liverpool, said Dirty Girl. Let the power of LFC force Pep to leave the Premier League and buy quality and winning everything, said Ron. Pep has agreed to join Juventus. 3 Italian journalists are reporting. Interesting. you'd seen these links to Pep. I think he's got 2 years left at Manchester City. He's not usually a manager that breaks his contracts. He usually sees them out before he moves on. Other links had linked Sarri to the Juventus job. So I don't know. I wonder if this thing with Pep is going to be a 2-year thing when he finishes with Manchester City. But that's just a guess, because I have no idea what's going on with Guardiola or the Juventus managerial situation. Brian Morrissey said the fluid formation thing needs more discussion. Totally disagree. Probably isn't the right place to do it, mate. Here now, it's probably best if we're in a room together. Maybe we can do it in the preview show before the final. That way I'll have myself, yourself, Connor and Dave to have a chat about it. Craig, do you think Hoever will be on the bench in the Champions League final or too big a game? No, I think he probably will, Scotty, mate. I think you might have nailed that. I think you might see him. He's been on the bench previously, if memory serves, so probably. I hope so. But look, I'm guessing, but I do hope so. Craig, you going to Wembley when we play City in the Charity Shield? We looked at it, Liam, and we made the decision we could either go over to the Community Shield or the Charity Shield or whatever the fuck it's called, or we could go over to the Boss Night event next Monday. And we decided that we wanted to go over to the Boss Night event in Liverpool next Monday because I've seen so many of the Boss Nights and they look fucking great, and I've always wanted to go to one, and the opportunity arose. In my schedule I had a gap, and next Monday is the night, and we got tickets and we decided we're going to go to that, mate, instead of the Charity Shield. So I cannot wait. Again, if anybody's heading to the Boss Night event at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool next Monday, let us know, because we'd love to meet up and say hello. And because it's an unreserved event, if you buy tickets, we can all go in together and stay together and have a bit of fun. What do you think about LFC investigating UEFA over the delegation of tickets? I didn't see that, Kev. I'd seen that Liverpool had tracked down 5 of their own fans who had put the tickets up for sale at an absolute astronomical markup, and were looking to possibly ban them and fine them. I think that's all I'd seen today in and around that, Kev. But of course, I don't get a chance, mate, to read up on everything, so feel free to put it in the chat, buddy. I'm always happy to read out stuff and learn, because that's what I'm on here to do, is learn from you guys as well. Have Wolves offered 25 million for Harry Wilson? Seems a tad cheap. I would say, Greg, that whatever price we sell Wilson at will seem cheap, because I'm fully convinced if we sell him that we're going to have a buyback clause in there, or a first refusal clause, which will probably mean that you'd sell the player a little bit more cheaply. Again, something that's been done in Spain by the likes of Real Madrid and stuff for a very long time. You sell him a bit cheaper, but you do have that clause to buy him back if he works out. Did anybody see Kiana Hoover's goal for Netherlands last week? Brilliant footwork. I did. I think it was in the 4-2 victory in the final of the Under-17 Championships against Italy, I think. But yeah, I did see the goal. It was great. He's a very, very talented young player. Kev Wright said, I will perform at Boss Night one day, mark my words. And I hope you do, Kev. And mate, I hope you look after your old bald mate from Ireland. You know what I mean? If you're up there on stage with Jamie Webster giving it socks, don't forget about Craig and Connor, mate. We'd like to be there in the sidelines getting some video footage of you. Thought it was going too well with the stream not having trolls, said Joanne. Are some in? I've no idea. Michael, do we have a Patreon account? Yes, mate, it's in the image there on the screen. Not something we push though, because not really arsed too much about money. Also, I'm always dubious, mate, of people asking that, because I know it's one particular thing that a certain group of people like to try and hit us over the head with, shall we say. A certain group of pathetic little individuals. But yes, mate, we do have a Patreon account. It is there, as you can see, scrolling across the screen there. Feel free to have a look at it if it's for you. Will you be live during the final? 100%, mate. We're going to have a preview show. We're going to have a watch along of the final. And we will, of course, have a post-match show, which we're going to do as a charity stream. We've said that before. Spurs have Llorente. We have Big Cock Origi, said LFC fan. Craig, would you sign Ashley Simon Young? He's on the level of Messi. I'm going to say no. Mate. I'm fed up to the teeth of looking at Ashley Young. There needs to be a buyback clause on Wilson and Grujic, said Ferno. 100% agree with you, mate. John Hamilton said, the thing with the tickets I agree with from fans and the club point of view, but like FFP, I can see the court's ruling against it. Here's what kind of annoys me about this situation. I absolutely agree that the club should be looking at these guys who are selling on their tickets for astronomical value and dealing with them, because it's shithousery of the highest order. But at the same time, it doesn't sit too well with me, and I know other fans, that the club's official travel partners, for instance, can charge the sun, moon and the fucking stars for trips. I've seen some astronomical prices from travel agents and stuff who get their tickets from the club, or who get their tickets from official sources, shall we say, and they're allowed to basically charge whatever the fuck they want. So yes, it's great that the clubs, and I think Spurs have done the same as well, are looking to punish these people who only wanted the tickets to make a profit on them. But at the same time, you've got to look at the bigger picture as well, and why is it okay for travel agents to rip people off and fans get punished for it? You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to justify fans selling their tickets for an astronomical value, not by any stretch of the imagination, but again, it's kind of selective morals to an extent, and it doesn't sit well with me in some situations. We should try Trent Alexander-Arnold in central midfield. He has played there when he was going through. I just don't think he'd be as effective as he is at right back personally. Willow said, had 1 or 2, Craig, nothing we can't handle, mate. Oh, look, you guys are damn good at removing trolls. I don't even see them anymore because you're so fucking good at it. So thank you for looking out for us always. Do any of your tattoos have a meaning? Sort of, yeah. I mean, I do have the time my 2 kids were born on my wrists. You can probably see this one a lot better, because that one is that one's in black and white. That one's a bit of red in it, but yes, I do. My syncing seems to have gone a little bit off. Am I off sync to anybody else? It's weird. My syncing does seem to have gone a little bit off for me. I'm just wondering, is it gone off for anybody else? Just to support this channel, mate. Sorry, Michael, I'm very skeptical, mate, when people ask about Patreon, because some people who don't really get us on YouTube just feel like it's a money making racket. And yes, we do. It's patreon.com/Anfield Agenda. But again, it's not something we ever push on anybody. A little bit. Yeah, it's weird. The syncing just gone off there for 2 seconds. I have no idea why. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on and off stream really quickly and come back and see if the syncing fixes itself. So give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. I hope that's better. It looks better at my end. I'm hoping it's okay at your end now. Okay, we're back on. Sorry I had to go off for a second. I just needed to check the syncing. Is it better? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down to let me know if it's got any better? Cool. Cheers. I don't know what the fuck happened there. It's mad. Again. Gremlins. I don't know. But I'm back and it looks okay. So good. Thank you. And yes, apologies to that gentleman who asked about Patreon. I'm just so... what's the phrase I'm looking for here? It's the only thing that's ever been really used against us. The fact that we have a Patreon. And I don't know why. Because if you knew how little fucking income it actually brought us, you'd laugh. Did you see the Barca have put Origi on the short list? We spoke about it earlier on, Lee, mate. It's nuts. Absolute madness. I mean, they're not getting them. And there is that thing Michael Edwards did before, remember, where he said they're like 100 million if you want any of our players before 2020. Hey Craig, how are you doing? I'm very good, thank you, Jersey boy. I hope you are as well. I see we lost a few people watching there when I clicked on and off for a second. Sorry, my own bad there, but I do have to just I did have to make sure that I fixed the sync. So there you go. Trent to make number 66 iconic. I'd love him to get 23. I know it's Shaqiri's number. I just love that Scouts link. You had Fowler, you had Carragher, and again I'd love Trent to have it. It's gone again. Is it? It looks okay at my end. Buffering. Buffering. It's gonzo. It's a half second off. Buffering. It's showing the stream is fine at my end. This is why I need Connor. It's buffering, it's buffering, it's buffering. It's okay for me. Brian, if you're there, mate, how is it on your end? It's okay. Refresh. Yeah, cool, good. Yeah, anyone who's having issues, just hit the refresh button. Sorry, as people suggested. And he thinks the Moses Daddy Simon this summer. Edward, that's a name, mate, I haven't heard in such a long fucking time. That's mad. Do you remember him last year? And all of a sudden he was the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody was wanting it. Is my internet slow? No, mate. My internet runs at about 88 megabytes. It's pretty good, to be fair. Vinny, mate, if you're having an issue, just refresh the page, buddy. I would love Trent to get number 2, said Liam Granby. I don't think we should give up on a chance to sign Werner over sentimentality for Brewster. It's not sentimentality, Raul. It's a lot deeper than that, mate. I mean, I'll go as far as to say I think Ryan Brewster will be a better footballer than Timo Werner. And in 2 years' time, we look back at this and go, wow. I mean, yeah, that's how I see it. And we worked so hard to get Ryan Brewster to sign that professional contract last year when there were so many clubs in Europe trying to get him that. I think I completely understand where Klopp was coming from. Where in Ireland am I from? Dublin, but now live in Wexford, mate. Barca want to buy Origi so that he can score against them next season. Am I from Dublin? Yes, I am. I just answered that one, buddy. Trump visiting Ireland. Fuck Trump is my answer to that one, mate. Even though I want to obviously emigrate to America, that lad is... Yeah, I mean, enough said about Trump. You don't even need me to talk about Donald Trump. The shirt really needed a thick white collar. Damn you, New Balance. I don't know, I like it. I like it, mate. I think, I mean, each to their own, but I like the shirt. Craig, are Barca targeting the Barca Slayer? Yeah, apparently they've been linked to it. It was only buffering when you put it on and off to try and sync, said my wife. There you go. Because I keep forgetting she's watching me like a damn hawk. Always watching. Always. Yeah, so anyone that did have any issues, just hit the refresh button anyway. Look, some more news to get through. I've done that one. So we all know the VAR is coming into the Premier League next season, but there are a few more changes coming as well. And again, credit to the Echo on this because they're putting out some really good content, to be fair. So there's the potential that the league could have its first overseas referee coming in. Australian Jared Gillette will join the Professional Game Match Officials Limited, initially in what's called Select Group 2, meaning he'll probably start with championship games. So we're going to have our first overseas referee in the Premier League, which, you know, anything that improves the quality of refereeing is good for me. 8 Premier League matches will also be shown at a new time slot of 7:45 p.m. on a Saturday night. Now, we did have a 7:45 p.m. towards the end of the season game on a Saturday, if you remember. Well, there's going to be 8 of those games taking place next season. And as a result of the new TV deal being implemented next season, more than half of the league's 380 games will be shown live on television, while all 30 matches in the 3 midweek rounds per season will also be broadcast live, as well as 10 matches on a bank holiday. So there you go. Go through that again really quick. We know VAR is coming in. We're going to have our first overseas referee, an Australian named Jared Gillette, who was refereed, I believe, in Australia at a high level. Initially, he'll be in Group 2, meaning probably championship games. And then 7:45 p.m. kickoff coming in next season with 8 Premier League games. How do we feel about Saturday night games, by the way, in the Premier League? Let me know what you guys think about that. I can't make up my mind about it. I really can't. I enjoy watching them with the likes of La Liga, Serie A. So, yeah, maybe. From a fan's point of view and from the point of view of electricity and the atmosphere and tension and everything you want from a football game, I think it's perfect. There'll be a few scoops had, I'm sure, as well before the games, and people will get up for it. But I don't know how I feel about it. I'll probably edge towards yes, but... Again, let me know. Do I have a personal Twitter? No, I got rid of it. I deleted it, mate, because I spend so much time running the Anfield Agenda account these days that I just said nah. So, yeah, if you want to give us a follow on Twitter, it's just at Anfield Agenda. And the names as well, Connor's there. It's if you want to follow Connor, it's at Connor Crosby _. So CONOR CROSBIE _. Did you see the farce of VAR in the A-League Grand Final in Australia? I didn't. No, I didn't, Luke, mate. But do let me know, how bad was it? Lots of people saying they like the Saturday night games. Nice. Um, who remembers Premier League plus €20 to buy Liverpool versus West Brom? Still paid it though. No, doesn't ring a bell to me. I remember Sky at one point sold season tickets. This has gone back many, many moons though. They sold season tickets so you could, buy a ticket for the Premier League games, which was weird. Ella said 745 are handy for when off work, 6-7 from work. I don't know what that means. Oh, the kickoff. Sorry, it's for handy from when you're off work. Yes. Sorry. Seems inconvenient even though I live in America, said Raul. So what's that make for you in America then, depending if you're 5, 6 or 7 hours behind? It would give you, probably would mean, Raul, you don't have to get up so early, because I know some American Reds who sometimes have to get up at ridiculous o'clock, mate, to travel to the supporters clubs or whatever to watch games. So from that perspective, I suppose it would be a bit easier. Why that time for games? I imagine it's TV schedules, Aidan, and I imagine it's to hit certain markets as well. Maybe the Asian markets, I don't know, but you can be guaranteed that the reason behind it tracks back to money, Aidan. Liam said, oh yes, Bevy before the match, you can't go wrong. Joanne Fisher said, they think Trump is for a reason, Craig. He's done more in the short time he's been in than Obama has in double term. I don't really want to get into politics, Joanne, if that's okay. It's not something we've ever really... It's probably not something I know it's not something I'm educated enough to discuss on, but yeah, well, is it okay if we just gloss over that one, because I don't want to, offend anybody. Saturday games are a good excuse to go down the pub. What else we got? Your crack is sound, Craig. Chelsea John, thank you very much, John. Welcome. Craig, one sign you believe is likely for us this summer. I don't like to put my neck on the line here, because as I've said, I genuinely have no inside knowledge on any transfer activity at Liverpool Football Club. I would say Neres, Depay, Pepe. One of those three perhaps. I think if I was to put down the most likely, they would probably be three that would be up near the top of my list. Craig, you're like my little brother, said Stephen. I'll take it, mate, thank you. Craig, Labour or Conservative if you had to pick? Labour. Lewis, mate, Labour. I don't like the fact there's only two political parties, really. I know there are more, but there's only two major political parties. I don't like that one bit when it comes to politics. I remember waking up to watch a 7:30am game, said Drew. That is dedication, mate. And that's why sometimes I really get angry when people have a go at overseas fans, or people say that, if you don't get to a game, you're not a fan, or any of that shit pisses me off, because I know the dedication that American Reds, Australian Reds, Canadian Reds, Asian Reds, and Indian Reds, I know the dedication that goes into watching and supporting Liverpool Football Club for you guys, and I've always appreciated it, and I've always tried to reach out to you guys and kind of show some love, because I've got to be honest, I know a lot of Reds who wouldn't be arsed getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever to week in and week out to watch Liverpool, as much as we love them. So as always, nothing but love to all of you guys out there that put in that type of effort. Craig, there'd be a 5:30pm on BT and a 7:45 on Sky. Yeah, there you go. And in Ireland we get a 3pm kickoff as well. So we'd have that possible 12:15pm kickoff, 3pm, 5:30 and 7:45. Do you know what? When you say it like that, Stephen, mate, that sounds like a pretty fucking good. That sounds like a pretty good Saturday for me. What else we got? That was more of a statement. Oh, again, Joanne, it's okay, mate. I don't mean to offend anybody. I really wanted to go to Liverpool for the final, but because of the leave insert, I can't, said LFC Reckland Dodgers. The prices are ridiculous, by the way, mate. I looked into it to go over, and the flights at the time I looked were about 500 quid if you could get one over to Liverpool, unless you wanted to stay for like 4 or 5 nights. Think the final is live on YouTube. Yes, I can confirm that. And I can only say this with regards to UK based Reds, so please don't take this as gospel, but BT are showing the final 100% on the YouTube channel, completely free of charge. I don't know if that only applies to UK residents, but I do know that BT are 100% showing the final free of charge on the YouTube channel. UEFA should move the Europa League final. They should put the players first. I agree, Robron. It's an absolute disgrace that Mkhitaryan is even in this position, that he feels like he can't guarantee his own safety and go and play in a final that he was part of getting Arsenal to. For me, it stinks, and it goes right back to UEFA's insistence on looking after themselves. They're supposed to be guardians of the game. They're supposed to be making European football better. And I don't think they're doing that. I just think they're looking after number one, as always, and trying to line their fucking pockets and trying to bring in more profits. And that's not their fucking job. Their job is to be guardians and custodians of the sport. Love Liverpool forever, said Iranian Pride. Oh, buddy, how are you? It feels like it's been a little while since we last seen you. I hope you're keeping well. Did you ever play for your school team when I was a kid? Oh, yeah. Night in Gaelic and in football, mate. 100%. I was sports mad growing up, buddy. My entire childhood was around sport. What's up, Craig? Sorry I'm late, said Skylo. Again, buddy, never any need to apologise. Thank you for joining. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I did warn you it was going to be a long stream, so strap in. We've still got around 30-35 minutes or so to go. So if you've got any questions, any topics, any players you want to discuss, put them in the chat. As always, this is your show. Hello from a Barca fan. Speedy, mate, how are you? Welcome in. Always a pleasure to have new fans in from other clubs. Who would be the best backup for Robertson? It's a really difficult question to answer, and I like the idea of a Ryan Sessegnon type player who isn't really a dedicated left back but can play there, and that would still allow you to give Adam Lewis a look and see how he develops, and technically you have James Milner who could play there if needs be. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to attract a player of quality to play a left back when they know that they're just going to be back up to Robertson. And I've spoken about the front three and talking about rotation. Well, that's three positions, I suppose. So, you can rest one, but if you're just going to rest Andy Robertson, you're not going to rest him that much. So it doesn't really give any potential player coming in much belief that, well, let's be honest, you're not going to boo him out of that position because Andy Robertson's too fucking good for you to boot him out. So it's a real tricky one, mate. And it's why I'd like to see like a Sessegnon type player who can play a little bit further forward as well. Kind of like an Alberto Moreno, but with some tactical knowledge and some positional sense. How old am I? I'm 37, mate. 37. Craig, it's like Shaqiri couldn't play against Red Star. Yeah, again, there was promises made and it was said that he would be safe, and I think the club took the decision out of his hands and made sure that he was looked after. There shouldn't be any crossover between politics and sport, should there? £3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. End of, said Gonads. Old school, mate. I appreciate it. Pro Instinct says, legit question. You can only go so long without winning silverware before you have to question the manager's tactics in games of huge magnitude. The squad on paper should be winning silverware. Okay, it's a question. It's a fair question, mate. Let's look back through this now. So Jurgen Klopp's first Champions League final was with Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich, underdogs. Fair to say? Would we agree on that one? Didn't win it. We move on. Against Sevilla, with the Liverpool squad that he had, we went 1-0 up. Amazing goal from Daniel Sturridge. And in the second half, between Alberto Moreno being, I don't want to be overly critical here, but being shit, basically, and us, I would say that we could put that game down to bottling it to an extent. I don't use that word around Liverpool, but that game, I think we let Sevilla back into it and we shouldn't have. Now, whether that's down to Jurgen Klopp and his tactics, perhaps, mate, perhaps. Move on to the Real Madrid final. We were massive underdogs going into it. In a one-off game, we're capable of beating anybody. Take into that what happened with Loris Karius and the shithousery there from Ramos. Take into account that we lost probably our best player to injury during the first half. Take into account the fact that our bench was riddled with injuries and we were bringing on an unfit Emre Can, an unfit Adam Lallana. I don't think it's really fair then to start having a go at Jurgen Klopp. But we do now, as you've said, mate, our squad is strong. Our squad is in a position where we should be looking to win things. So going forward, yes. Going forward, mate, I do think we should be looking to win things from June the 1st. So I get where you're coming from. I understand the way some people do have this question around Jurgen Klopp, but everything has to be put in perspective. And this is probably the first final of a European competition that Jurgen Klopp has been in that you can possibly say we're favourites in, or he's favourite in. The Sevilla game with Liverpool at that time was probably a 50-50 game. Real Madrid, we were massive underdogs. Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich, at that time they were underdogs. So you have to take that into account as well. Craig, is that a strap in or a strap on? Whatever works for you, Stephen. How much do I think we can generate from sales? The figure of 100 million, Paul, seems to be the one that's doing the rounds. It depends who we move on. Wilson, somebody said 25 million. Mignolet, I've seen around 15 million. Lallana, 13 million. Grujic, I hope he doesn't go, but if you do sell him on, probably 25 upwards. Klein, I don't know what Klein would be worth. You'd have to imagine in excess of 10 anyway. So yeah, you can easily see how that adds up and get to roughly that £100 million mark that people are talking about. Breadsticks said, Craig, is there a way to watch the preseason games live on TV? Don't worry if you don't know. Yes, LFC TV, mate. They usually show all the preseason games. Sometimes BT show the odd one, I think, but in general, LFC TV is, if you buy that package, you can watch the preseason games. I mean, that's how I watch them every season. Liz Golden said, not a football thing, so feel free to remove. I'm having a procedure in the morning, would like some good vibes. Liz, nothing but love from me, my friend. I wish you all the best. And do let us know whenever you can that everything went okay. And you know you're going to get love from our group, mate, because you're a really important part of our group. So nothing but love from all of us at Anfield Agenda. I hope it goes well for you, and we'll be thinking of you. And I'm sure everybody else will echo those sentiments. Stephen Taggart, is it your birthday? Is it your birthday, mate? I'm trying to catch up and see. If it is, buddy, then happy birthday to you. I know it's some Stephen's birthday. I think it's Stephen Taggart, and lots of love and many happy returns to you, my friend. Craig, would you be happy with Bobby dropping back in the midfield 10 role if we get a centre forward? I've no problem with Bobby dropping back, whether that's because we get a centre forward or whether that's because of Ryan Brewster. I think it's probably his more natural position, Alan, but he's that damn good, Bobby, that you can play him anywhere. So as long as he's in the starting 11, it's always going to be good at me, mate, because he's my favourite player with the club. Liam said, one of my mates at the academy, and he was saying Adam Lewis is moving up to Melwood full time and Klopp will be impressed by him, so it looks like he's going to be back up for Robbo. Well, look, we're going to be moving to Kirby, aren't we, soon enough, so that's one of the joys of what Jurgen Klopp's vision of Kirby was, in that he can be with the first team and then he can go down and he can have a look at the younger players, and if somebody catches his eye, then he can bring them on up and have a look at them with the first team and see how they get on, and that's the whole point of that new facility and why it's so great that the owners backed Jurgen Klopp's vision. And yeah, brilliant, just more of this please from the club. Low Fat, how are you, sir? Said, lads, backed up computer playing up. Where are we up to? Just transfers, mate. It's all transfers at this moment in time. We're just trying to kill time till the Champions League final. I wouldn't expect us to make any transfer activity until after the final, said Owen Healy. Perhaps pull the trigger on it beforehand, mate, but maybe announce it afterwards. But I get you. And I don't think you're alone thinking that. Underdog in virtually every final he lost, said Craig Weston. Sevilla and Wolfsburg, I'd say Klopp may have been favourite to win them. Sorry, I want to catch up. These days the chat just moves so quick that I'm struggling to get through everyone's comments. We'll definitely win this final, said Brandon Carter. I don't think Spurs will handle the pressure and mistakes will be made. How much does LFC TV cost? I think on my package it's €7 a month. I think. Now I know that there are different packages, mate. You can get an internet only package, or you can get a TV package. But I think for me it's about €7 a month. Actually, I think Sky threw it into my package as free as part of a deal that I got, but I think the price is around €7 a month. All of pre-seasons on LFC TV, said Stephen Richards. So there you go. Another great reason to subscribe. And again, for the likes of £7 a month, or I don't know what it is in the UK, maybe £5 or £6 a month. I'm not trying to underplay the value of £5 or £6 a month, but for the summer to watch the pre-season games, it's certainly worth a roll of the dice. Bobby Firmino or Origi in the final, asks Joshua Gomersall. I think we'll see Bobby Firmino, Joshua. I think if he is fit, pushing aside maybe the lack of match fitness, I think you'll see him because he's so important to our system. So yeah, for me, I think you'll see him play. But Origi, I've no problem. He showed against Barcelona what he's capable of. Yeah. So there you go. For me, I think we'll see Bobby starting. Again, loads of lovely people saying happy birthday to Stephen, and of course, wishing all the best to Liz. And you know what? It's exactly why I keep praising you guys to everybody, and go around bragging that I honestly believe we've got the best group of subscribers on football YouTube, because I've yet to meet an asshole in our group. You guys are just really, really nice, humble, down to earth, honest to God people, and I think it's great. I think it's why people keep coming back in. Really wish Anfield was 100,000 capacity. We deserve it, says Arda. I mean, we'd all love it, mate. I mean, we could go into the technicalities around going over 60k and the infrastructure and all that, but we've spoken about it so many times. People are probably sick of me talking about it. Craig, I think players are waiting to see if we win it before they commit. I don't think it would make any difference, Stephen, at this rate, mate. We're already in it next season. They know we're going to be challenging in the Premier League. They know we've got a pretty damn good squad. They know they've got Jurgen Klopp as manager. And again, we can't underplay the fact that players will want to come and play at Anfield. They will have seen the Barcelona game. They will have seen the massive occasions at Anfield. That doesn't get lost on players. Low Fat said, quiet transfer-wise at the minute. Mate, I've been waiting for you to come in, actually. I hope you can answer this one for me. Leroy Sane, what's the situation, Lofa, at Manchester City? Could you let us know? Because there's been a couple of people suggesting he's on the way out. I've seen him linked to Bayern Munich. There's been some lunatics linking him to Liverpool, which I don't believe one bit. But I would like to know, mate, what your thoughts are on Leroy Sane. October's back. How are you? 10 days to go. 10 days to go. Change the days. It's after 12. No, it isn't, mate. Not here. I'm in Ireland. It's 3 minutes past 11. So for me, there's still 11 days to go, unfortunately. So you're not the first person that's done this as well. A couple of people have tried this one. Don't forget, you're probably in Central Europe somewhere. I'm in Ireland, so it's only 11 o'clock here. Craig Weston said, Craig, Timo Werner is much more of a solid player than Depay. Werner could do fine out on the left. I feel you. Your thoughts? Werner started his career as a wide player, from what I'm led to believe. I would prefer him over Depay. I think there's more value in Timo Werner as well. I think he's a couple of years younger than Memphis Depay. I think I just prefer him. I've always had a little issue about Depay's attitude or his mentality, so I'm absolutely all over Werner if that was the case. Brian Morris, he said, the more I think that we have a really quiet window, and incoming's definitely more players out than in. That I would agree with, mate. I mean, there's definitely some players to be moved on. I still expect us to get 2 or 3 in, though, and I mean 2 or 3 first squad players, not 2 or 3 younger players. There is talk of a Liverpool player moving on, though. Again, a younger player. Where was it? Yes, I've been dreading the thoughts of saying this gentleman's name all day, but Liverpool are apparently edging closer to selling want-away young striker Teu Oiani. If I mispronounce that name, which I know I have, I do apologise, but Michael Edwards apparently is looking to get something in the region of 7 to 10 million for him. So again, that'll be more money coming back in, so yeah, good. And a little bit of transfer news, not really Liverpool related, but somebody mentioned it earlier on, and I promised I'd circle back around to it. Juventus apparently look very likely to sign Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio. Reports suggest a deal has been agreed with the player, but that the two clubs are yet to finalise a deal. What do you guys think of that? Yeah, so let me know what you guys think of that one. It'd be a massive deal. Massive deal. 7 to 10 billion at Liverpool Football Club. interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. My computer seems to have just gone slow for a second. Spot on, said Drew Branch. Werner could play in midfield. He's that versatile. That's very interesting. Is Connor back in? Did I see Connor pop back in the chat? There he is. Connor, am I a bit behind to you, mate? Is my syncing off? Because there's something playing up tonight. Didn't quite catch that. What was his name? There's not a cat's chance in hell, mate, that I'm repeating that name again. I'll give you Milinkovic-Savic again. I can go with that one, but there's no way I'm talking about young Taiwo, who will say 7 to 10 million, which would be another Michael Edwards fantastic piece of business. Nicolas Pepe would be a great addition, said Gary. Again, lots of people trying to get me to pronounce his name again. Not happening. Low Fat said Sane staying. It's just a pay issue on his new deal. I think he wants more cash. Good to get an inside perspective on that one, mate, from Manchester City fans, so thank you. Any news on Milner's deal? Apparently he has a year left, Mark, so I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Yeah, apparently he's got a year left, so anybody who says the stream's buffering, just give it okay, give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna right, so what I would suggest, guys, is just give it a refresh. Just refresh your screen or your browser for me, because I've restarted now, so I'm hoping it's okay. So we haven't got too much longer to go on the stream anyway, so we're all good. Savage will be about 75 million, said Kieran Aaron, which is interesting. City think they have the best team ever to grace the Premier League. As an Arsenal fan, I think our 0-3-0-4 Invincible team was the greatest. What do I think? We talked about this actually, Devin, the other night on the stream, mate, and I actually think that the 100-point barrier was a greater achievement than going unbeaten all season. But look, it is a personal thing, Devin, and I'm not trying to underplay your 0-3-0-4 Invincible team, because they were damn good. But I do think hitting 100 points was more impressive. Personally, just my opinion. Are we waiting to sign players till after the final? I don't know, buddy. Some people suggest that. I don't know. I wonder, is it because the club are still away training now and Jurgen Klopp can't really have conversations with players? Must be part of the coaching team after he's finished his career. Milner, yes. I would think he will go on and coach without a shadow of a doubt. He's class. Loads of people are going to say the 100-point barrier. I think the 100-point barrier was harder to get than an unbeaten season. As mad as that sounds, because an unbeaten season is fantastic. But breaking that 100-point barrier it's special, to be fair. Next year will be harder for Pep. Liverpool. What's this? Liverpool for the scalp. That's our trophy, mate, next year, said Drew. Liverpool were 1 goal away from being unbeaten. Yeah. You know what? I can't believe I've never thought of that, Liam. Yeah, that is mad, actually. Yeah, that is absolutely fucking mental. 1 goal away, you're right, mate. That is nuts. Can't believe I've never... I know, obviously, we lost 1 game all season, but because we'd lost the game, I never even entertained the fact that we'd only, we were a goal away from having an unbeaten season, which is... It just goes to show the levels this team are playing at. It's mental. Would I take James Maddison? Yes, absolutely, Luke. I think he's a fantastic player. I said before, should have probably went from last year. He picked up that injury at the end of the season with Norwich. And as I said, full credit to Leicester because they pulled the trigger and got the deal done. What is Barca and their obsession with Liverpool players? I don't know, Eric, but I love it. I love that they're that intimidated by us now that they're starting to worry about our players and stuff. And long may it continue. And I think we're in a position now, mate, where we don't have to sell to anybody. Connor said 12 draws in early cup exits. The Invincibles are a myth. This City team is miles above. The Swines lost 4 games and still amassed 98 points, said Craig Weston. Rob Ron said, what's better, the United treble, City's 100-point barrier, or Arsenal's unbeatable? The United treble. I think the United treble. I mean, that you're talking fucking Premier League, European Cup, and what was the other trophy? That was it, the FA Cup? That is that's a pretty damn fucking fine season, to be fair. Anything that you're throwing a European Cup and a Premier League title with, that is... I mean, it kills me to say that, but I'd be a liar if I didn't give you my honest answer, Rob Ron. And that United treble for me would stand above. It is a good question, and not actually one I think we've spoken about. For me, that treble. Oh God, I feel dirty even saying that. Kieran said most of the top leagues only finished last week. We've got to remember that. We spoke about it earlier on, buddy, and you're spot on. It is why the Premier League is a little bit of a gap between the Champions League final and when we finished. There are other leagues that did have a week or two left to play. What do I think about Ndombele? Very good player. Seen links to him to loads of clubs. I don't think Liverpool need him or will go in for him. I can't believe the footballing gods crapped on us this season. To be fair though, Gonads, I mean, we turned around a 3-0 deficit against Barcelona and beat them 4-0 at home to reach a Champions League final. Yeah, the footballing gods are okay. Somebody said I need to refocus my camera. It looks absolutely sound at my end, and it's the second time, Lewis, that you've mentioned it. Connor, my camera, is it okay at your end? October, my camera, is it okay at your end? Willow and Liam, is it okay? I don't ask everybody, but to me, mate, my camera looks completely focused. Who do you think will win the Premier League next season? It's too hard to say. The Vanishing Troll. I think it's going to be between Liverpool and City, but it's too hard to say. Obviously, I want to say Liverpool, but I want to see what business both clubs do. Yeah, it's focused. Yeah, I thought it was. It looks absolutely sound at my end as well. Maybe just refresh your page, buddy. Cool. All looks good. Thank you. Gonad said, reset your HD in YouTube. That's a Connor question right there, mate. That's what we call in the industry a Connor question. 29 centimetres short of being unbeaten and champion, said Bill Keane. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It is tough, but it is what it is, unfortunately. You look crisp. I'll take that one, Antoango. I'm taking that. You look crisp. There you go, buddy. Right, guys, look, we've got about 15 minutes left to go. I told you this was going to be a long stream, but I want this last 15 minutes to be whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you want to talk. I'm not even going to read my notes anymore. Last 15 minutes is completely down to you. Give me whatever you want. Whatever you want to talk about. Any questions you've ever wanted to ask? Bang, fire away. Anything you want to know about Connor? Fire away. Except where he got that jacket, because that's an industry secret and he's never telling you that. Craig Weston said nobody is stealing our players. Then we'll win on June the 1st and nobody can say we're not the best team in the world. I get you. And again, lads, 15 minutes to go. If you're watching, you haven't subscribed, don't forget to hit that button. Drop a like on the stream. Though I think City is a little jealous of Liverpool. Jealous? I don't know. Obsessed with? Yes. They're forever singing about us. They're forever talking about us. I think they just want to be our club. They can have all the shallow victories and stuff that they want, but I don't think even the most ardent Manchester City fan can deny that we're in their heads. And look, we talk about Manchester City as well at times, especially on the stream here, because they're a very, very good team. But there you go. That we are in their heads. There's no denying that. Connor, you're making me laugh, mate. Oh... Am I sideways, Connor? Is that what the problem is? Petr Cech to be Chelsea's new sporting director, which is true. It was confirmed earlier on Sky. Well said, Bowie. Gotta like Petr Cech as well. One of football's good guys. Dybala and De Ligt will be two great signings, said Matthew. De Ligt's not happening, mate. Sorry, I don't mean to rain all over your parade there, but it seems like it's a Barcelona thing. Is Bigfoot real? No. There probably was some type of an animal though. But no, Bigfoot, I don't think Bigfoot's real. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1. I've got a tenner on it, said Lofat. That's the score predictions that we were going for as well, mate. I think Liverpool win by 2 goals, whether that's 2-0 or 3-1, but I hope your tenner comes in for you, buddy. For various reasons, obviously. Some of them being completely selfish as being a Liverpool fan. Ted Hutton said whoop whoop. It's been a goddamn while, mate, since I've done a whoop whoop, isn't it? Because no games, no goals, no whoop whooping. Anything about Nicolas Pepe and rumours? Just that we're interested in him, Farhan. That he is going to leave this summer. His manager has said he'll be leaving the club. Loads of Liverpool players or Liverpool fans want him, but I can't lie to you, mate, and say that I've got anything to say. Yes, he is coming, or yes, we've put in a bid. I won't lie. Yeah, sorry, I can't tell you a lie, mate, because I'm not an ITK and I don't come on here to just spread football rumours. I read the rumours, I tell you what's in the papers, I tell you what I've read up on, but I never try to claim it's gospel. Would you like him though, Farhan, mate? I can see from your question you probably do, and you're not alone, as I said, lots and lots of reds. He rents that jacket, said Brian Morrissey, with regards to Connor. So if anybody does want to rent Connor's jacket, just get in touch with Connor. October made sure she got a picture in it. This is no word of a lie. October was over, as you know. She was in Ireland. We went to Tado Park, myself, Connor and my family in October. And October would not leave the car until she got a picture in Connor's jacket. I tell you no lies. Clear the porn search history, Craig. There's too much of it. Cape Town Muslim, mate, there's just too much of it. I wouldn't even know where to start. And then all my cookies and stuff would be ruined, mate, and I can't do that. Pepe or Depay? Pepe. Riley, for me, buddy. Pepe for me. Again, though, open to the chat if anybody wants it. Moon landing was faked, said Connor Crosby. I don't even know where to go with that, mate. Labs Gamer said, Inshallah, in the holy month of Ramadan, Salah Mane will score a hat-trick against Spurs. Come on, you Reds. And as I've said before, anybody who is observing Ramadan, lots of love to you and to your families. I hope you're all keeping well. You're talking about an animal like Bigfoot has now made look around the house to make sure there's nothing here. It's alright, Jack, mate. Rod has him. Or he's probably in Raptor cellar, actually. Neymar to Bayern. I fucking hate that lad, to be fair. Mirko, I do not like Neymar one bit. I think he's everything that's wrong with modern day football encapsulated in one little pampered gobshite. Yeah, I don't know. It does seem like he probably wants out. It also seems like maybe Kylian Mbappe wants to move on, although he's tried to backtrack a little bit now. Craig has been listening to Vanished podcast. Had a case today about a Missing County Wexford lady. Can't recall her last name. Have you heard of this case? Yes, I have heard of it, Farwell. I've heard of it. Don't know much about it, but I do know what you're talking about. But I couldn't give you any insight on it. The Wexford Triangle sounds really funny though. Farwell said, I always wondered if the moon landing footage was entirely on the up and up. Perhaps didn't show the whole thing. There was a few things. I remember listening to this on Joe Rogan before. There was a few little bits and pieces that apparently they fucked up on. I don't even want to go into the details because I can't remember them, but I believe the moon landing, of course, was entirely real. This summer's transfer window is as exciting as waiting for Christmas, said Cameron. There's going to be something, isn't there, that triggers an absolute tidal wave of transfers, I think. Whether that be Real Madrid getting Hazard, whether that be Pogba, whether that be maybe Liverpool going, whether that be De Ligt going to Barcelona, perhaps something will trigger this mad window. I think this summer's going to be crazy. Maybe not so much for us, maybe 2 or 3, but I think in the main transfer window is going to be nuts, and there's going to be a ridiculous amount of money spent. Mane will be at their defenders like a dog on a bone, said Craig Weston. Joanne Fisher said if City get punished for the financials, they could get docked points as a penalty. What could that mean if it's taken off from last season? Get the Premier League Cup after all. Well, UEFA can't do anything about with FFP with regards to Manchester City in the Premier League. That would only be for the Premier League to look at. And I can't speak for everybody else. I don't want the Premier League title that way. I don't want Manchester City to be docked points and Liverpool to be given a Premier League title because it would feel shallow. It would have denied the fans that moment of celebration, that moment of joy that we've waited 30 years for. So I always feel the same way about people who are given Olympic medals or Tour de France medals or whatever it might be because of drug cheats, and I don't want Liverpool to be given a Premier League title because Manchester City have been docked points. It just wouldn't sit right with me, and it would feel like there's always an asterisk beside it. So for us, I want us to go and just win the damn thing our own way without anybody stopping us. That's just my opinion, though. Again, I'm happy to hear what everybody else has to say on it. Farwell said, Neymar, like the trophy wife your dad marries, disrespecting your mom. Drew Branch wants Pepe. Who would look better in a Liverpool jersey, Werner or Fekir? Fekir. I think if we're talking about who would just look better, I think Fekir, and his dark hair and his beard and stuff would suit it more than Timo Werner's light coloured hair and pale skin. Just for me, I think I still want Fekir to this day, if I'm being honest. When I heard his name mentioned last year, I went, yep, that's it, that's the one, get him, that suits everything. Nabil Fekir ticked the box we needed, and it was close. Yeah, I'd love him. I'd absolutely love Nabil Fekir, even still now. Stephen Richard said, Craig, I'm a Bigfoot size 11. That is a big foot, mate, to be fair. I'm a 10. Griezmann to be unveiled on Sunday after the Champions League final. Not for us, nor do I want him anywhere near Liverpool, mate. Him and his bullshit documentary making skills. He looks like, again, another one. You've seen Barca linked to him. I think I've seen a link to Manchester City, to Antoine Griezmann. Good evening, Craig, in the chat room, said Drew Branch. Drew, how are you, buddy? We'd be champions if not for City's money. Perhaps, but at the same time, you want that moment of celebration at the final whistle for whatever day it was that you'd win a title, to have that taken away from you. It just wouldn't sit right with me anyway. But I can't speak for everybody, of course. Everybody has their own opinions. Celtic CCC Castle Clash said, agreed, wouldn't want the Premier League that way. See, United got the new James Bond, Daniel James. Yeah, I don't know much about that kid, to be fair. I haven't watched much of Swansea. Craig wants to shag Fekir, said Connor. No, Connor, I would see more of it a making love type of situation. I could see it being very gentle. I imagine he's a very considerate lover as well. So, I mean, shag, mate, you make it sound very rough and very, very harsh. I imagine it would be much more tender than that. But, I'm just that kind of guy. Hoping his wife still isn't watching, going, fuck you 2-minute wonder. What else have we got? Craig, can we get Fekir? I hope so, Param. But if it's the injury, if the knee was the problem, then there probably isn't a deal to be done there unless you got him at a really good price. Looking forward to the Women's World Cup. They have some awesome games, said Doolin. Yeah, there's a lot on this summer, isn't there, mate? As you said, you've got the African Cup of Nations, you've got the Women's World Cup, and you've got the Copa America as well. Have you ever been to the Northern Irish coast where some of the Game of Thrones scenes were filmed? Don't recall the name of that coastline, but it looks amazing. I'm not sure exactly. I've been to Belfast and I've seen them doing tours to the areas where... Is it near the Giant's Causeway? I don't know exactly where it's filmed. I don't watch Game of Thrones, mate. I just remember hearing about it when I was in Belfast, that they do tours to that area. So, no, is the answer really, I suppose. I want to win the Premier League the right way, said Paul Turner. Michael Edwards is looking at Kolo Touré as a wonderful technician and a great young player. I love Kolo Touré. Still to this day, I just loved having him at the football club. The man just made me smile every time I looked at him. He just always looked happy. If they took the Premier League away from City last year, surely they would have taken away every league they won this decade. Look, I don't know the ins and outs of this stuff, nor do I want to guess about what might happen. It's unfair to City, it's unfair. Like, I have my own opinions on the whole situation. I've made them clear, but I've no idea what might or might not happen. But all I can say is I don't want the Premier League that way. That's just my opinion. Enough Crocs in our team. We don't need Fekir with a dodgy knee, said LFC fan. But to be fair, mate, this season he hasn't really missed too much with injury, I believe. Hit the like button, folks, said Stephen Richards. Please do, actually, guys. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please do. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Craig, if I got a wig, what colour would I go for? Ooh, that's a good question. What would suit me? I'm not going to lie, mate. I'd probably go like dark. I'd probably go dark haired. Probably will be an afro-y type look as well, or maybe a perm, something along those lines. But yeah, it would be dark haired because I can't imagine blonde suiting me. Do you know what I mean? So I don't look like a blonde, do I? I'm okay with Klopp. I'm okay with Klopp bringing anybody in, said Antoine. I'm with you, mate. Whoever he decides he wants, I'm sure that they'll fit in fine. Craig's a lover, not a fighter, said Bernadette Farrell. I'm just a useless bastard, Bernadette, mate, to be fair. Craig, who's your favourite player of all time? Liverpool related or non-Liverpool related? I'll give you both, Aidan. Robbie Fowler, from a Liverpool perspective. Of all time, my favourite, you've said now. Not the best. Who I think is my favourite? Probably Diego Maradona. I mean, I loved watching Maradona. I just caught Maradona's career. I mean, I caught the middle to the end of it. But yeah, Diego Maradona, for me, I mean, sensational footballer. And a mad bastard as well. And I do love a lunatic. There's absolutely no chance Mane is going to Real. I would agree, Matthew. None whatsoever. They seem to think they can just have fucking everybody at this moment in time and just play with monopoly money as well. They're not getting them. They're not getting Sadio Mane. They can keep asking. They can keep putting it in the paper, but they're not getting them. Derby or Villa to win the playoff final. I would prefer... Who would I prefer? See, I don't have anything against either club, to be honest. Villa. I think I would side towards Villa. Again, though, nothing against either club. Two very big clubs that probably should be Premier League clubs. Fekir didn't play on Sunday. Do you think that might be a hint? No, I don't, Jack. Not for us anyway, but maybe he does have some deal. Never seen a minute of Game of Thrones, said Elijah John 5. Me neither. Not a second. None. Not even... Yeah, nothing. Tommy Smith is Bernadette Farrell's favourite player. Dreads, Craig. I don't think I could pull them off. I could definitely see me with it like Graham Souness perm. Do you know what I mean? I think I could pull that one off if I grew a little tash to go with it. Frank Lampard to Chelsea and Sarri to Juve is definitely something low fat that I'd seen mentioned, mate, in a few places today. Again, I don't know. Some people seem to think Pep is off, and I know you're not going to agree with that, mate. That Pep is off the Juventus, but for me, Chelsea sacking Sarri, it's just madness. It's just absolute madness. They're forever sacking managers. They need to get some stability at that football club. Johan Cruyff, said Devon as well. I just missed Cruyff's career, but the videos and seeing him back, just a wonderful footballer. Apparently United had a £97 million bid rejected for Koulibaly. Somebody mentioned something along those lines last night as well, Bowie. October said, my good King Sadio Mane cannot leave for what you've described as racist Real Madrid. Again, that's your words, not mine. I think shithouse Real Madrid, up shit creek without a paddle Real Madrid, desperate Real Madrid. I'm happy to use all of those phrases. Doolan said John Barnes for both answers. I get you. Digger was amazing, absolutely unbelievable footballer, and those leg muscles are just ridiculous as well. Those shorts look like they were begging for mercy at time. The man was so strongly built, powerful, and a wonderful, wonderful footballer. Dalglish and Paul McGrath are Tom Boland's answers. Two great answers as well. The video of the team doing the Cola song in the airport still makes me laugh. Was that the airport or was that a hotel in Dubai? The one with Stevie G and all. I thought that was a hotel, but look, I'm usually wrong on these things. Who else have we got in? Did somebody say Barnes is in? How are you, mate? All the Everton City fans now, it's madness. Has anybody seen the tweet that Everton have spent the most money in football history to not win a trophy? I didn't see that one, mate, but I'm all for it. More of that, please. Cruyff didn't name George Best in his greatest all-time 11. That is a little bit odd. I mean, to be fair, George Best, simply outstanding footballer. Carragher's a badass, said Liz Golden. I love Jamie Carragher. I do love him. He's great. Stephen Gerrard, my favourite player. Can't be anybody else, said Luke. You started your exams today, Liverpool Army, mate. I wish you all the best with them. Yeah, I hope you knock it out of the park, mate. I'm sure you do. Yeah, lots of love to you, buddy. I hope they go well. Signed a Robbie... what's this? I have a Robbie Fowler signed shirt when he was at City. Met him, class guy, brilliant striker. Oh, low fat. I think he's one of the most natural finishers I've ever seen play football. And when Rafa Benitez brought him back to Liverpool, I was so happy. I was so, even though it was right in the twilight of his career, I was so happy. I love Robbie Fowler. I have a signed Robbie Fowler shirt and a picture of me meeting him downstairs in my living room, and every day it makes me smile looking at it. Do I like Wolves? I'm not going to lie, mate. They've gone down in my estimation after their fans on the last day of the season. As a club, their manager, fantastic, very good squad. A lot of money behind them as well, but their fans' behaviour on the last day of the season, yeah, singing, about fucking signing on and feed the Scousers and all that type of shit. Actually, I can't be sure that they've sang Feed the Scousers. Sorry, I don't want to accuse them of something that I know they haven't done. They did sing disparaging songs about Liverpool, the city, money, that type of thing. What I know for a fact that when Liverpool went to Wolverhampton, that they helped out with the local food banks and stuff there, the supporters did, so it didn't sit well with me, mate. I thought there was no need for it. Is a Werner deal close? Not that I'm aware of. S. Alman, no, mate, not that I'm aware of. Willow said, hate Michael Owen. Love Jimmy Case, said Craig Weston. Low Fat said, Pep set to sign a new 5-year deal. 20 million a year is what's going around City rumours. Be unusual that, mate, to be fair. Pep, I suppose I can just go off his recent history. He does seem to do like 3-4 year cycles at clubs, doesn't he? I'm sure maybe Pep is extremely happy at Manchester City. Maybe he loves the league, maybe he loves the city, maybe he loves the owners and the way he's been looked after at Manchester City. So, I mean, you're obviously far more informed on this stuff than I am. Thumbs up if you'd love Craig to do a FIFA career mode, said Lewis Johnson. I'll be doing some gaming on Crack on our second channel, mate. How much, I don't know. Favourite football pundit? I'm trying to be non-biased here. Neville and Carragher, either of them. I think they're both sensational at what they do. If I'm being really, really honest, I think they're great. As a presenter, I really like Jake Humphries from BT. I think he does a great job. Always had a soft spot for Wolves, not now, said Elijah John 5. Balagay seems to think Liverpool held talks with De Ligt. Yeah, we spoke about that a little bit yesterday, Robbie, mate, and it got me a little bit excited, if I'm being honest, until I read the piece from James Pearce that suggested Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp are happy with the centre-back options that they have. And then I read a piece on Sky that said that basically it's a done deal for De Ligt to sign for Barcelona. Param said if Pep doesn't win the Champions League in the next 2 years, he's leaving City. I think as successful as he's been at Manchester City, and he has been extremely successful, that is beyond doubt, he was brought in there to win the Champions League. That is what the owners of that club want more than anything else. And if he doesn't win the Champions League, to call it a failure would be over the top. But it is something that will hold a question mark over Guardiola, because he hasn't been past the semi-finals since he left Barcelona. Brian Kerr is a legend. I love Brian Kerr. I was so happy when he got a chance at the Irish job, because he was perfect for it. Low Fat reckon the best Liverpool player ever was Ian Rush. I don't know about that, mate. I think there's a lot of Stevie G and Kenny Dalglish fans. For me and Robbie Fowler would disagree, but Ian Rush, sensational and a really nice guy as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it a night, if that's okay. I can feel my voice is starting to go here a little bit. What day is tomorrow? Wednesday. I think the first podcast will probably drop over the next day or two. I don't want to put Connor under pressure, so keep an eye out for that one. Next Monday, don't forget, we're going to be in Liverpool, so we will have pre-recorded content that we're going to post up for you next Monday. So even though we're not going to be live, we will give you guys that content. We've got lots of build-up coming up. I've got Dave joining me on Tuesday. So Dave Henry's going to join me on Tuesday for a look ahead to the Champions League final. Expressions is coming on Wednesday. We're going to do a preview with him for the Champions League final from a Spurs perspective. Cash is coming on this Friday for a chat as well, so going to have Cash coming up in 3 days. Looking forward to catching up with her, and a few more bits and pieces as well. Transfer news whenever it comes in, so do hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the stream, and I will chat to you all tomorrow night at 9:30 or 9:45. Before I go, actually, I'll let you guys decide. 9:30, 9:45 or 10 o'clock. What works best for everybody? Because I want you guys to be happy with the time. So just if you can give me a quick 9:30, 10 or 9:45 before you head off, just so I can get a rough gauge of what people think time-wise. Loads of good nights as well. Dele, Barcelona definitely, said low fa. Right, I'm getting the times coming through now. It really so far is a 50-50 split between 9:30 and 10. Was John Bale barred? I honestly can't remember, David. I don't know, mate. I didn't bar anybody tonight, so if somebody was booted out, it wasn't for me, David. Sorry, I'm still reading through times here. I'm not just ignoring everybody. Yeah, it really. Do you know what? We'll go 9:45 if that's okay. So we'll go 9:45. I think it was more towards 10, but there was a lot of 9:30, so we'll go 9:45, and I will see you all tomorrow at 9:45. Thank you as always for your time. Take care of your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them, and up the motherfucking Reds.